Let's dive right into this wild story. Meet Ashura, 14 years old, living in a tiny country named Ol, just one of 14 small nations under the Valencia Empire. His family? They are absolutely a huge deal here. Grandpa Adolf literally helped build this place. And his dad, Alphonse? He is the Grand General commanding an elite force known as the Mountain Shaker Corps. His mom, Qinlan, is a gentle wood element mage. She is kind, keeping everything running perfectly at home. Her dad, Old Qin Zongren, is a famous doctor and potion maker. And his brothers and little sister? They are all absolutely incredible. Oldest brother Inaga is 18. He is a genius with the sword and brilliant with strategy books. He is already a first-stage warrior master, effortlessly leading armies all on his own. Second brother Asubo is 15 and obsessed with martial arts. He is already a third-stage warrior, aiming straight for the prestigious Augustus Academy. Little sister Azia is only 12, but she is beautiful and already awakened her magic like mom. Everyone says she has a bright future. Then there is Ashura. He is not stupid. Actually, the complete opposite. He can memorize anything after reading it just once. But he completely ignores studying and training. Why bother? Training equals suffering, and suffering means absolutely zero fun. He prefers climbing rooftops, chasing chickens, and pulling wild pranks. He drove away 3 tutors and made 2 others faint. When his dad tossed him into the army to straighten him out, he made life incredibly interesting for the soldiers. Midnight fake emergency drills, firecrackers hidden in the latrine pits, and greased-up saddles, making riders slide off their horses. The best part? He always had a flawless alibi. Nobody could ever pin anything on him. Now watch closely. Things absolutely exploded when the tough vice commander, Han Dang, bit into his daily lunch bun, finding a massive toad inside. He marched straight to their gate, dropped to his knees, crying, and begged the general to please take Ashura completely out of camp. So, back home, he went. His dad gets a popping forehead vein every time he deals with him. But Grandpa Adolf just strokes his beard, smiling. He always says that third boy will do great things. Meanwhile, Mom fiercely protects him. Whenever father starts hitting him, she pulls Ashura into her arms, giving his dad a glare, saying, "Touch my baby again, and you sleep alone tonight." His older brothers always kneel down, begging their father to punish them instead. And little sister runs fetching mom or grandpa the exact second he is in trouble. They are close like that. As for martial arts, he never really trained at all. He just picked up complex techniques by watching his brothers while serving those long-standing drill punishments. Plus, his body got insanely tough from the beatings. Somehow, he skipped right past the apprentice stage, hitting first-stage warrior without trying. His grandpa Qin Zongren used to totally adore him too. Ashura learned the family's secret acupuncture technique in 3 days, totally mastering it within 1 month. The old man was incredibly proud. Finally, a genius to carry on the family legacy. But then Grandpa caught him using those needles to paralyze their yard dog, just laughing his absolute head off. The old man was so unbelievably furious, he stayed in bed for 2 whole weeks. Today's punishment? That happened because he snuck into Grandpa's potion lab and accidentally blew up his furnace. Everything inside totally ruined. Grandpa caught him running, dragged him right to his dad, and left on a long trip to calm his nerves. This time, even mom stayed out of it. His brothers and sister kept their heads down, completely quiet. His father punished him for a very long time. Then he simply sighed, telling himself he still had 2 good sons and a great daughter, and ordered, "Go copy the entire medical textbook. Absolutely 0 food until you finish." So here Ashura sits, stuck at a desk, angrily copying a massive book he already memorized perfectly, writing as incredibly fast as he possibly can. His stomach is growling and he wants dinner. But even as he complains quietly, his brilliant mind drifts somewhere else. A major secret he has never told anyone. Here is his absolute biggest secret, never told to a soul. Can you even believe this? At 10 years old, he awakened. Incredibly rare lightning, magic. Literally one of the absolute rarest types on the entire continent. He could suddenly see brilliant silver magic particles floating everywhere in the air. He instantly remembered his mom telling stories about first awakening her own gentle wood magic. He knew instantly exactly what happened. He could become a powerful mage. So, why exactly did he keep something this huge totally hidden? Simple. If his intense family found out, they would force him to train even harder. And then, absolutely zero time left for any real fun. So, he kept his mouth completely shut. For years, not one word to anyone. He did secretly pick up one specific trick, though. While mom taught little sister Azia the absolute basics of magic meditation, he quietly watched from the sidelines and secretly learned exactly how to do it. The first time he tried meditating under his blanket at night, he literally felt those silver lightning particles rushing happily right into his body. The feeling was incredibly natural, like they wanted to be part of him. Trust me, you need to remember this. Strange gray particles secretly snuck in alongside the silver, vanishing inside him instantly. But he is just a beginner. You and I are about to see why nobody suspected me. On this massive continent, martial arts talent is incredibly rare. Most never even pass the apprentice stage. And magic users? 20 times rarer than regular warriors. Earth, water, wood, fire, and wind are common elements. But lightning, ice, light, darkness, and space, those are all ultra rare. Warriors and mages share 9 major ranks, each split into 3 tough stages. The higher you climb, the harder leveling gets. Plus, mages burn through way more resources to actually advance. Anyway, the real reason I got punished today? Yesterday, I read Grandpa's medical books claiming mages can infuse magic elements into pills during refinement to massively improve their overall quality. Naturally, that made me curious. So today, sneaked right into Grandpa's alchemy room while nobody was watching. His furnace was already cooking up some calming pills. Medicine, just to help him handle the stress I had already caused him. The big problem? I've never actually learned real magic before. I had absolutely no idea how to release my internal lightning energy. But then, my genius brain sparked a wild idea. I might lack magic techniques, but I totally memorized the body's meridian system from those books. I focused hard, slowly guiding my lightning element right through my energy channels. At first, it behaved, flowing perfectly smoothly through me. Watch closely here. The energy started snowballing, rolling bigger and moving way too fast. I was totally losing control. Cold sweat dripped down my forehead. I knew I couldn't hold it back anymore. Gritting my teeth, I focused everything and forced the energy out through my palm's Lao Gong point. What popped out was a grape-sized silver ball of pure glowing light. It flickered bright and dim, shifting sizes as it drifted lazily toward Grandpa's furnace. Everything in my gut screamed this was highly dangerous. I bolted straight for the door, peeking back inside with half my head sticking out. The second that little ball touched the furnace, boom, a massive thunderclap shook everything. Grandpa's beloved grade 3 furnace, forged from insanely tough earth core iron that even my father couldn't crack at full power, was completely fractured. The room was absolutely wrecked. The pills, blown into total nothingness. I wiped the nervous sweat off my face and just ran. I needed to vanish immediately. I was almost out the building when I crashed directly into Grandpa, who heard the explosion and came rushing back in panic. One look at my super shifty eyes, and he knew I was guilty. He grabbed my collar and dragged me straight to the alchemy room. When he finally saw the massive damage, his veins practically popped. Let that sink in for a second. He noticed the furnace cracks and froze. Knowing my dad couldn't do that, what did this brat do? How did you destroy my furnace? Tell the truth, he demanded. No way, I was confessing. I would definitely keep this secret hidden forever. It wasn't me, Grandpa. I was just walking past when I heard the explosion. It totally scared me, so I ran and bumped into you. That's my story. He totally knew I was lying. If I heard a random explosion, my nosy self would rush right toward it, not run away. He pressed me again and again, but I firmly stuck to my story. I even had the absolute nerve to suggest his alchemy failed and the furnace blew up on its own. That nearly made the poor old man pass out. He dragged me to father, dropped me right at his feet, and left for his trip without even looking back. He also planned to find a new furnace. So here I am, copying a book I already memorized, rubbing my painfully sore backside, completely starving. Then the door creaked open just a tiny crack. A little head with cute buns poked through. Third brother, my little sister called sweetly. I immediately looked up, tossed my pen down, flopped onto the wooden desk, and stretched my hand toward her. Finally, I am starving. Hand it over. She giggled and pulled a massive piece of braised beef from inside her warm jacket, like always. Then she picked up my pen and started perfectly copying the medical book for me. We've done this so many times. It is basically a routine. Whenever I get punished and cannot eat, she sneaks me good food and finishes my copying. I tore into the beef, asking between big bites, "So how is it looking? Has father calmed down yet?" She pouted her pretty little face. "You made him super angry this time. Mom is upset too. Usually, she sends medicine for your injuries along with the food. This time, she only let me bring food. Eat fast," she added quickly. "Big brother and second brother are distracting father out front. I cannot stay long." Hearing about the missing medicine made my poor backside sting even worse. I winced and grumbled, "Father is totally unfair. He has 4 kids, but only ever punishes me. Am I actually even his real child?" Then I proudly puffed up my chest. "Oh, just you wait. 30 years on the East Bank, 30 years on the West. One day I will become the absolute greatest warrior in the world. And then you will what?" "Exactly?" A stern voice interrupted from the doorway. That deep voice hit me like freezing ice water. Every single hair stood up. I stiffly turned around, and there was my father, standing with a totally stone-cold face. My sister dropped the pen and hid. "Well, you and I know I'm completely doomed." Father strolled in slowly. "Keep going. Finish what you started. After you become the world's strongest warrior, then what?" I saw that freezing smirk. Every single beating I ever got just flashed right before my eyes. "You and I know one wrong word means trouble." So I activated my best sweet-talking voice. "When I reach number 1, I will return to Olai in total glory. I will honor the off family name. Everyone will see that epic fathers raise epic sons. People will travel from everywhere just asking how you raised such an incredible kid. Then I will have tons of kids to expand our family. Under your genius leadership, we will totally become the absolute greatest clan ever." Father's eye twitched. His lip twitched. Even his hand twitched. Right beside me, my sister's face turned totally red, just holding back her massive laughter. He glared at her. "Did you finish your magic homework?" She vanished before he could even finish his sentence. She did not even look back. Ran straight to Mom. Absolute traitor. I stared at Father's totally blank face, having zero clue what to do with my hands. I forced a cheesy smile that honestly looked worse than weeping. He was studying me right back. I felt it. Tall and lean for 14, sharp features, bright eyes, and black hair tied back super loosely. I guess I looked decent enough, ignoring that goofy grin plastered on my face. Then the vibe suddenly shifted. He slowly sat at the desk. The room fell completely quiet. After a long pause, he spoke in a tone I had never heard before, super soft and almost sad. "Do you remember? Whenever you caused massive trouble, your grandfather always said the exact same thing. That third boy will do amazing things. Pay attention here, because I had zero clue where this was going." I paused, then said, "Grandpa really judges character perfectly." His forehead vein popped again. I watched him physically calm himself down before continuing. "Out of all 4 of you, you possess the most natural talent. If you just focused on training, you could completely surpass everyone in our family." I totally did not expect that, I answered carefully. "I think big brother and second brother are pretty talented too." He stared at me hard. "Your big brother is talented, true. But he is the eldest son of our entire military family. The Mountain Shaker Corps needs an expert leader. He spent years studying tactics and strategy instead of just cultivating his own raw strength. His martial level will probably peak around the exact same as mine. He accepts his duty. He never once asked to study at the academy. He is actually getting married this year to Prime Minister Su's daughter." He kept pushing before I could even reply. "Your second brother absolutely lives for martial arts, but he is stubborn, inflexible, and his raw talent has strict limits. Insane effort brought him here, but he'll stall out eventually. Our family lacks advanced techniques to push him any further. If he enters Augustus Academy this year, at least his ultimate dream comes true. Your little sister has solid talent, but she is as playful as you. Our family lacks the massive resources to raise a high-level mage. Your mother reached only mage 3rd stage, and even that drained your grandfather's entire life savings as a doctor. To fully achieve, your sister will go further than your mother, but ultimately, she will just marry into another family." I stood silently. We're both wondering the exact same thing right now. Why was he dropping all this heavy truth on me? We already had big brother and second brother. What did this family even need me for? He practically read my mind. Our Olay kingdom is just a tiny vassal state under the massive Valencia empire. Our family holds a very minor hereditary title. Wars completely surround us. Shady court officials constantly accuse us of hoarding military power. It is absolutely no exaggeration we face massive threats from inside and outside. I have been stuck at Grand Warrior 3rd stage for ages. I honestly cannot find any way to break through. Your grandfather was once a magic warrior, 2nd stage, at his peak. But after lifelong wars and major injuries, he fell back down to Grand Warrior 1st stage. We both clearly know our limits. We know exactly what we provide this family. If the Off clan wants to survive, every single person in your generation must fight and aggressively push forward. This world is not as kind as you think. The strong survive. That is the one absolute truth that never changes. He stood up, placed his hand on my shoulder, and left without another single word. I stood completely frozen for a long time. Then I slowly turned around, grabbed my pen, and went right back to copying the medical book. But this time, wrote super carefully. For the first time in 14 years, I was completely quiet. I copied until dawn, painted the sky pale white, then finally crashed on the desk. I never knew that my father returned to the door, secretly watching me sleep with my brows totally twisted tight. He genuinely did not know if his words were right or wrong. He sighed and walked away, then woke up to absolute screaming. Footsteps pounded through the mansion. Servants shouted in pure panic. Someone come quickly. Something happened to the young master. A dreadful feeling slammed right into my chest. I totally ignored the aching pain in my body and bolted straight toward the front gate. I reached the crowd. Father roared in fury. Brother cursed. Mother cried. Trust me, you and I have to see what happens next. Stick with me here. Servants shouted, sounds clashing wildly. I just prayed desperately for no terrible news walking in. Then I saw the nightmare. Second brother knelt on the ground, his eyes totally crimson, tightly holding our oldest brother. Anaga was completely unrecognizable. His entire body was battered with brutal strikes. Both knees were absolutely soaked and ruined. Barely breathing, passed out cold. Some absolute monster had wrecked him and dumped him at our front door. Pure shock hit me. Then pure instinct took over. I sprinted back inside, grabbed my silver needles, and rushed to his side. Using Grandpa's acupuncture technique, I completely stopped the worst damage. Working fast, my hands felt horribly shattered, bones all over his frame. Then I found the absolute worst part. Someone had mercilessly crushed both of his kneecaps. I entirely lost my mind. I threw my head back, screaming at the heavens until my throat practically ripped open. Right then, mocking laughter echoed from the street. A rich guy in flashy silk stepped out of the shadows with 4 imposing warriors behind him. He casually strutted over, just running his mouth. Why all the yelling? Is he finished? I told them to spare him. Can he not take a simple beating? Is he already gone? Haha. Before he even finished that laugh, I was moving. I shot straight toward him like a shadow. A silver needle gripped tight, aiming directly for his eye. I wanted to absolutely guarantee this arrogant punk never laughed again. But a huge warrior stepped up and brutally kicked me. Flying back several meters, I coughed hard, stood up, and fearlessly charged again. Watch closely now. The warrior threw a massive punch, but a powerful figure stepped between us. It was my father, casually catching that heavy punch with his own fist. The guard stumbled backward, smirking wildly. The legendary general of the Mountain Shaker Corps. Is that all you have? Father grabbed my shoulder, holding me back. Barely containing his absolute fury, he demanded, "You did this to my boy? Why? Do you honestly think the Off family is easy to bully?" The silver-robed punk just sneered. Others might fear you, a Fonchian, but I definitely do not. I am Sanquin, eldest son of the Blackwater family. Even your king respects me. You are just a glorified guard dog here. Father's intense fury was boiling over, but now, he finally realized exactly who we were dealing with. The Blackwater family was a massive martial arts clan packed with experts. Their patriarch and elder reached Magic Warrior 3rd stage. In a small country like Ol, they answered to absolutely nobody, not even the king. Our family has absolutely no grudge against the Blackwater clan. Father growled through his clenched teeth. Why would you ever ruin my eldest son? Sanquin's face simply twisted with pure malice. I wanted your son's fiancée, Prime Minister Su's daughter, Su Yinger, but that foolish woman refused. She shaved her head, completely, ready to give up everything instead of being with me. No woman ever tells me no, so I figured. Let us see if she still wants to marry your boy after I turn him into complete garbage. Ha ha ha. But right before he finished that laugh, a massive blade sliced toward his face. His warriors frantically yanked him backward just in time. Sanguine broke into cold sweat. You felt that rage too, right? Grandfather Adolf stood there, heavy broadsword drawn, trembling with absolute fury. You have pushed the Off family way too far. You really think this old man cannot swing a blade anymore? Sanguine's panic instantly turned to pure spite. Try it again, old man. I dare you. I know your cultivation level dropped hard. I brought 2 Grand Warrior 3rd stage fighters today. Maybe you and your son can fight them, but what about the rest? Touch me and I will absolutely ruin everyone standing here. Go ahead, call your little mountain shaker cores. Let us see if your king even keeps you around after that drama. Haha. Grandfather was shaking with pure rage. He had never been this humiliated in his entire long life. But protecting his precious family, he slowly lowered his massive sword. Right then, second brother looked up. His eyes were entirely crimson, burning with fierce hatred. I will remember today. I swear I will come for you. Every single person who hurt my big brother, I will never let go. Sanguine flinched at those terrifying crimson eyes. Then, he quickly snarled back. I know who you are, Asubo. I looked into all you worthless brothers. You are not even worth my precious attention. Oh. Are you not trying for Augustus Academy this year? Planning to come back way stronger and settle this? Let me tell you, you will never make it. I will have guys watching every single road. You will not get near that exam. Inside Olai City, the Blackwater family has an old agreement with your royal family to not strike anyone down inside walls. But outside the city, crushing you is just like stepping on a pathetic ant. Haha. Second brother clenched his fists so hard they violently cracked. Sanguine had not just crippled our oldest brother, he was trying to destroy Asubo's dream too. But me? Listening to every single one of Sanguine's arrogant words, something strange shifted inside me. I became totally calm. I stared deeply at every single one of their faces, burning them right into my memory. So what do you and I take from this? Simple. Never cross a family that promises payback 100 times over. Pain for pain. This is just the beginning. Stick with me. You are watching a legendary troublemaker finally grow up. Sanguine shot us one final disgusting glare, spat, and practically strutted right away. Behind him, the boy stood completely frozen. He just watched that villain fade away into the distant street. 2 brutal weeks vanished. The massive mansion felt empty. Every servant just tiptoed around, terrified of making any loud sounds. Everyone in my house felt completely shattered. Big brother Anaga just sat in his wheelchair, wearing pure white, looking entirely hollow. He clutched an epic military strategy book, but honestly, he never flipped a single page. Second brother Asubo quit training completely. Instead, he just drank constantly. He would get absolutely wasted, screaming pure nonsense at the empty sky. Grandfather Adolf went totally silent. He spent hours hiding in the ancestral hall or at grandmother's grave, constantly whispering desperate apologies. Mother just cried all day long. She ripped through every single medical book Grandpa Chen left behind, hunting desperately for some miracle to fix Big Brother's legs. She knew even if Grandpa returned, he could never fix this nightmare. Somewhere out there, rare magical medicine existed to heal bones. But a tiny general's family like ours, we could never buy those treasures. Seeing Anaga trapped in that tragic wheelchair honestly shattered her heart into tiny pieces. Meanwhile, Father endlessly paced between the heavy military camp and our quiet home, keeping his face completely blank. But bright white hair shocked his temples overnight. And my little sister Ozia completely stopped smiling forever. That cheerful girl vanished. She practiced her heavy wood magic every single day. She had heard legendary wood magic could heal severe injuries, so she made it her absolute mission to learn it, even without ever seeing magic at that high rank before. Now watch closely. I locked myself inside my room for 3 days. No food, no water. I just sat there, absolutely furious at my own weakness. During those dark days, I wrote a letter to Big Brother's brave fiancée, the girl who shaved her head instead of surrendering to Sanguine. I promised her that Big Brother would definitely walk again, and she would proudly marry into our family. I swore on my life that within 10 years, I would completely crush the Blackwater family. Finishing the note, I called her sister-in-law for the very first time, and I begged her to just stay safe out there. By the third morning, I finally escaped my room and marched straight toward our massive training grounds. I stood right in the center, letting warm sunlight hit my tired face. I stared at the weapon rack, rows of swords, spears, and heavy blades. I reached out, then quickly yanked my hand back. I know what you are thinking. I was terrified. This was the exact spot I always avoided. These were the exact weapons I always refused to touch, but finally grabbed a massive broadsword. Flashing back to father training my brothers years ago, I started swinging, practicing one solid move at a time. I was so furious I woke up this late. I hated grabbing this blade so late. I was dripping with sweat when a loud crash suddenly exploded right behind my back. I spun around fast and spotted second brother collapsed on the ground. A wine jug shattered everywhere. I sprinted over to help him stand. Second brother, you need to stop drinking. I know you are hurting, but the Augustus Academy exam is coming soon. You cannot keep doing this. He just laughed. A tragic, hollow laugh that dragged on way too long. Then he muttered, not bad with the sword, Asura, but I am skipping the academy. Do not worry, a few more days of heavy drinking, and I will stop. What do you mean you are not going? That is your dream. Are you terrified of the Blackwater family? He just stared at the shattered jug. The Blackwater family is my enemy. I will crush them. I'm not afraid, but Big Brother cannot stand anymore. The family needs me. The Mountain Shaker Corps needs me here. What Big Brother was supposed to do, I will do right now. I will protect our family. The academy means nothing now. I froze. I could not speak. Then he grabbed my shoulder, staring right into my eyes. Asura, your raw talent crushes mine. You are this family's absolute last hope right now. Carry my dream with you. Crush the academy for me. Become an absolute powerhouse on this continent. That is my new dream. I need you to make it real. I had never considered any of this. I never imagined that after Anaga fell, my second brother would sacrifice his entire life just to protect us. Looking into his tired eyes, I saw pure heartbreak and wild hope completely tangled together. I did not speak. I just nodded fiercely. Suddenly, Father's deep voice echoed from right behind us. Asura, do you truly want to attend the academy? He stepped up, staring at both of his boys with the heavy expression. I just could not understand. I did not hesitate once. Yes, Father, I will conquer Augustus Academy, and when I return, the Blackwater family will pay for everything. Father's cold eyes softened with pure, heavy guilt. I failed as a father. I have let all of you down. We both shook our heads fast. I spoke first. The family's future belongs to everyone. It is time we carry that weight. So here is where we leave it today. Father realized the kid who always laughed had not smiled in weeks. Then he got incredibly serious. Your brother must take over as the vice commander of the Mountain Shaker Corps. Stick with me here. The Blackwater family placed spies with his face on every road to Augustus Academy. If they find him, he is finished. I stepped up immediately. I will go instead. I can pass this exam. But Father shook his head. You cannot go to Augustus either. Blackwater spies are watching every route. If you go out there alone, it is way too dangerous. And we cannot leave the main family unprotected. Plus, academies demand applicants be warrior or mage 3rd stage by age 16. You are only at warrior 1st stage right now. With the exam just under 6 months away, you will not make it, he sighed. The academy only recruits every 3 years. Miss this chance, and you will be way too old for the next round. I squeezed my fists tight. There had to be another way. Then, boom. Father, the Valencia Empire has other schools. If Augustus is entirely blocked off, I will just go to St. Gobain Academy instead. It is super far away, across the entire empire. The Blackwater family definitely will not be watching those roads. I know I am only warrior 1st stage today, but give me 6 months. I will reach 3rd stage and enter St. Gobain. Father just stared, absolutely shocked by my total confidence. After a really long, heavy pause, he muttered, this is no game. St. Gobain sits at the very edge of the empire. The roads are brutal. You have never even stepped foot outside Olai City. How could we let you go? Traveling takes up all your time. Even if you survive the trip to St. Gobain, you would fail the exam. It is impossible. I looked him right in the eyes. Father, you have to believe me. I can win. I will get stronger at St. Gobain. and I will personally return to wipe away all of our family's absolute shame." My second brother suddenly stepped up. "Father, I believe him. We all know he is the absolute smartest and most talented among us." Father's voice stayed super quiet. "These academies are packed with absolute geniuses from everywhere. Do not think your talent is unique. Do not act like a frog trapped in a well." He stopped, closing his tired eyes for a long second, then finally opened them. "If you want to face the real world, you have my full support. But promise me this. Stay completely hidden until you are truly strong. Keep quiet. Level up in the shadows. Even if the academy rejects you, keep pushing your limits and growing stronger out there. You have always been so reckless. That terrifies me. This family really cannot handle another tragedy. Can you promise me this right now?" I took a breath and nodded. "I promise. I will stay hidden. Play the weakling to crush the enemy." Father gave me this incredibly deep, intense look. "Meet me at the training grounds tomorrow at dawn. I will teach you our ultimate Thunder Rush Fist. Master it, then leave town immediately. Do not let me down," he warned. He turned away. Before the sun even came up the very next morning, stood at the training grounds, completely ready. "Now pay attention, because things get interesting here." Father arrived looking completely exhausted, and I actually caught a very strange smile sneaking onto his face. I had zero idea why. I also spotted these tiny scratch marks right on his neck, which honestly left me even more totally lost. What I did not know was that when he pitched this escape plan to Mother, she absolutely lost it and almost attacked him. She literally pulled out her magic staff. He barely calmed her down, but he had zero choice. The Blackwater family was basically forcing the king to destroy our entire family. Sending me far away was honestly the safest bet for everyone. He instantly snapped back into serious mode. "We are out of time. I am showing you our family's Thunder Rush Fist. Memorize every single detail. Once you lock this down, you leave right away." "Got it?" I nodded intensely. "I will learn." Without wasting a single breath, he launched into all 8 moves of the Thunder Rush Fist right there, breaking down every technique and dropping his own genius insights. I watched, completely mesmerized. "Let me break this down for you. Combat and magic skills use 5 tiers. White, green, blue, purple, and yellow. Our family's legendary Thunder Rush Fist sits at blue tier. Even Olai's royal family probably lacks a purple tier, let alone a yellow one. This Thunder Rush Fist is just pure, devastating, explosive power. Master this, and your punch creates a loud thunderclap, blasting energy right through any opponent. At minor mastery, you trigger 2 massive thunderclaps and 2 waves of piercing force. At full mastery, 3 thunderclaps, 3 huge waves, each hitting harder than the last. Father spent 30 solid years refining this move. He reached absolute, full mastery. Every single punch in his 8-move combo exploded with 3 thunderclaps. It was absolutely incredible. Breathing heavy, he turned to face me. "This is our greatest technique. I tried to teach you before, but you always stubbornly pushed it away. Now that you have seen it once, how much did you actually catch?" I tilted my head, thinking for a split second. "Literally everything." He completely froze. Then, remembering my insane memory, he smirked. "Good. Show me. Forget about making mistakes. Just feel the raw power." I stepped up, closed my eyes, and perfectly replayed his moves. "Trust me, you're going to want to see this. Let me show you a totally massive flex." I started the routine, feeling Father's heavy, stern gaze. But then his expression shifted. His eyes went totally wide. I was absolutely crushing every single motion, detail, and exact angle. Then, on my final punch, boom, a massive thunderclap. Father just stood there, jaw completely dropped, looking like actual lightning just struck him. I was hyped. A thunderclap meant I did it perfectly. Well, only on that very last punch anyway. I looked over, hoping for some cool advice, but he just stared. I literally had to call him twice before he finally snapped out. He gulped hard. "Not bad. Have you practiced this before?" "Nope. I knew my older brothers could do it, but I never ever watched them train. Just seeing martial arts used to give me a massive headache." He let out a really long, slow breath. "Then keep practicing. Once every punch creates a thunderclap, you can go." I nodded fast. "I will master this as quickly as possible." He waved me off and walked away, hands behind his back. But I completely missed. His right hand, clenched so tight his knuckles turned white. I had zero clue about the absolute storm inside him. Pay attention here, this context is wild. When father was 14, Grandpa Adolf taught him this exact technique. It took 3 demonstrations in 8 full days just to make one single thunderclap. And Grandpa actually smiled, calling him a total natural. Big brother Inaga did it in 4 days. Second brother Asubo took 7. Yet me, the lazy kid he wanted to discipline constantly, I pulled it off on my very first try. Behind him, thunder just kept booming from the yard, proving it was no fluke. Father apparently walked straight to a tree, punched it hard enough to shake off every leaf, and muttered angrily, "What the heck was that brat doing all these years? I literally knew none of that." I just kept punching. I didn't leave those training grounds all day long. Whenever servants brought food, I scarfed down a few quick bites and went right back to work. I totally missed everyone watching me from the edges. Father standing with arms behind his back, second brother holding a jug, big brother sitting silently in his wheelchair, my little sister with her cute bun, and grandfather rocking his white beard. I punched straight through the night, and when the first morning sun rays hit the grounds, I threw all 8 punches, and every single one of them boomed with epic thunder. I collapsed straight onto the ground, grinning like an idiot. You and I know how amazing this feels, right? Finally working hard and actually succeeding. Seeing this, the silent watchers turned and quietly walked away. Their footsteps definitely sounded much lighter now. Real hope was finally born in our mansion. By noon, I packed up all my things. Time was running out fast. I had to reach St. Gobin Academy before enrollment closed. This was my shot. Grandfather came up behind me, holding out a belt. I turned to his warm, gentle smile. "Take this, kid. It has a magical storage space inside. Only about the size of a study room, but it makes traveling much easier." My throat suddenly tightened up. I recognized that legendary belt. The king of Olai gave it to grandfather as a massive reward for helping build our entire nation. He earned it through fierce battles, nearly sacrificing everything he had. And now, he was just handing it over? "Grandpa, I really cannot." He waved me off immediately. "It is just a belt with some storage space. If it helps out, then it serves its true purpose. I really wish I had far better equipment to give you. I hope your journey goes well." I bit my lip hard, nodded, and strapped it around my waist. Reaching out with my mind, I felt the space inside. Not massive, but definitely big enough for all my weapons, clothes, and food. Then Mom walked in holding a wooden box, her face an absolute mess of mixed emotions. I was always the kid causing her the most trouble, but also the one making her smile the brightest. "Here, these are the healing pills your grandfather left behind. They aren't high grade, but they work well enough. Take this set of silver needles too. Please be careful out there. Do not get yourself hurt." She kept fussing and worrying endlessly. The old me would have totally covered my ears and run away. But now, I genuinely didn't want her to stop. Then second brother wheeled big brother inside. Asubo looked totally different. No alcohol, zero red eyes. He finally looked like that intense martial arts fanatic I always remembered. He pulled twin sabers from behind his back. "Ashura, I don't have much to give. These blades are decent quality. Use them to protect yourself out there." I grabbed them with a huge grin, spinning them in a flashy move. "Thanks, second brother. Now, I actually look like a real master." He shook his head at me, but his mood definitely lifted. Then big brother finally spoke up. It was the very first time he said much since the tragedy happened. A tiny smile crossed his face as he held out a small coin pouch. "Ashura, I do not have anything special for you either. Take this money for the road." I stared at the pouch, but didn't reach out. "Wait, isn't this the bribe price for my sister-in-law?" His smile froze. Then he gave a bitter laugh. "The Blackwater family is incredibly powerful. Prime Minister Sue's family returned the cash. Trust me, you'll want to see what happens next. Come along with me." He paused, offering a gentle smile. "Just take it. I am finished with it. Otherwise, second brother gets it for his wedding. And when you are broke, do not complain about me playing favorites." I stared right at my big brother, the guy who always protected me, happily taking the heat whenever I completely messed up. A massive smile spread across my face. "Fine. Consider this a premium investment in a future champion. Once I get super strong, we'll repay you 100 times over. Guaranteed." "Epic deal." He chuckled softly, shook his head, and handed the pouch over. Suddenly, a tiny hand appeared. My little sister Isaiah, tears streaming down her cute face, tightly offered a few shiny gold coins in her fist. I am investing too, third brother, remember, 100-fold returns once you are strong. I hugged her tightly first. Then I grabbed the coins. Ashura always keeps his promises. Fair trades only. I will bring back a massive bag of gold for your wedding dowry one day. She burst into pure laughter through her tears, hiding her red face against our mother. Our family always lived simply. Any extra cash went straight to injured soldiers as pensions. Those few coins were literally every bit of allowance my sweet sister had saved up. It was her entire fortune. I stored everything securely into my storage belt, then finally walked out. Father just stood there silently, looking desperate to say something, but entirely unable to find words. I glanced back one final time. I will become incredibly strong. I will return to protect our family. Just wait for me. I stared at them all, memorizing their faces, burning them into my soul. Then I turned and bolted. Definitely not through the main gates. The Blackwater family spies were everywhere. Instead, I took a running start and completely vaulted right over the wall. Pay attention here. As I jumped, one thought burned fiercely. Blackwater family, you forced me out like a thief today. When I finally return, I am tearing your entire estate down to the ground. A few quick jumps and I disappeared completely down the street. I crouched in a dark alley near the city gate, watching carefully from the shadows. This was the third gate already. Blackwater goons were guarding every single exit, heavily scanning every person trying to simply walk through there. If they spotted me, they would attack instantly. Escaping the city was my biggest problem right now. Luckily, this specific gate faced entirely away from Augustus Academy. Because of that, the Blackwater guard presence here was incredibly weak. I stared at the crowded market by the gate, watching everyone constantly moving around, and a massive, clever grin spread across my face. I hatched a brilliant plan. Moments later, a bunch of energetic kids rushed through the gate, holding silver coins and screaming at the top of their lungs. Mom, there are actual silver coins hidden outside the city. We just found them. I want braised pork tonight. Everyone stared in absolute shock. A street food vendor aggressively grabbed her kid, snatched the shiny coin, and bit it. Pure silver. One single coin could easily feed her family for a whole month. Where did you get it? She loudly demanded. In the woods. Nearby. Not far away. That was literally all it took. The fastest thinkers were already sprinting toward the gate. You saw that too, right? The rest followed. Within minutes, a massive stampede of crazy people flooded out of the city, violently pushing. The Blackwater guards were completely shocked and confused. They could not inspect anyone during that. Absolute madness. The market emptied out, leaving only crying vendors standing next to their completely abandoned, empty stalls. I smoothly vanished into the crowd like a ghost. This entire beautiful distraction was my masterpiece. I handed those kids the silver, gave them the exact script, and guaranteed them another shiny coin when they successfully came back. I also scattered extra coins in the dark alley where I hid. The kids would definitely find them and believe the wild story was real. I glanced back at the city gates one last time. I secured second brother's dual sabers to my back and sprinted toward St. Gobain City. I avoided the main roads entirely. I took hidden trails and rushed through the forests, mostly to dodge the annoying Blackwater family, but also because I wanted to battle wild monsters along the journey to rapidly boost my strength. The entrance exam demanded Warrior 3rd stage, and I was stuck at 1st stage. Surprisingly, there were barely any wild beasts around here. What I found instead were bandits. Lots of them. At first, I held back. I fought them off, but would not eliminate them. That completely changed when I discovered a poor girl my sister Asia's exact age, who had met a brutal end at the hands of terrible bandits. After that, I eliminated every bandit without hesitation. Stopping them was saving others. I truly understood that reality now. One quiet night, deep inside a mysterious forest, I sat by a stream, cooking a wolf over my campfire. I always loved experimenting with delicious food. Back home, most tiny animals I caught became tasty snacks. Right now, I was sitting here casually eating tough, wild wolf meat instead. For the record, wolf tastes absolutely awful. 3 whole months had passed since leaving home. Every single day meant walking, battling, and sleeping on bare dirt. The easy life was gone forever. My goofy smile transformed into something sharper and way more dangerous. Makes you think, right? I hit Warrior second stage basically without even noticing it. Trust me, you and I are about to see this kid do the impossible. But honestly, leveling up completely alone out here was incredibly lonely. I am someone who thrives around people, and I had not had a conversation in 3 entire months. I stared up at the moon and sighed. How is everyone doing back at home? Did Grandpa Kin ever return? Did he finally heal Big Brother's legs? Is sister-in-law still waiting for him? Muttering questions to absolutely nobody, I leaned against a tree and drifted off to sleep. I really missed home. Waking up at sunrise, I stretched, double-checked my direction, and sprinted straight toward a town called Spirit Spring. I had put enough distance between me and the Blackwater family by now. I could not keep hiking through endless mountains if I wanted to reach St. Gobain in time. I definitely needed a new mount. Spirit Spring was famous for a magical natural spring that supposedly boosted your raw power and extended your lifespan if you just drank from it. Being myself, I obviously had to try it out. I got down on all fours and gulped the water straight from the pool. Then I looked up and saw a random cow doing the exact same thing right next to me. My mood completely soured. I headed to the mount dealer. A thin man in his 40s, with a curly goatee, rushed over. His name was Zaha. Despite my plain clothes, he seemed to perfectly sense I came from old money. Sir, M. Zaha, at your service. Whatever you need, I will make sure you leave satisfied. I want to see your mounts, I stated. He led me straight into the sales yard. I had never been to a place like this before. There were over a dozen horse breeds, plus wind wolves, ground dragons, unicorns, and even fully tamed flying beasts. Magic beasts had to be fitted with the beast control ring after being tamed. It lowered their aggression, forcing them to obey basic commands. Higher level beasts were much harder to tame, and a weak master could never earn their respect. I wanted a magical beast so badly. Now pay attention here. Riding one would be epic, right? But I was way too weak, and showing up on a rare beast would attract the exact kind of attention my father told me to absolutely avoid. I need a dragon horse, I demanded, the fastest one you have got. Zaha looked a little disappointed. He had been hoping for a massive sale, but then his greedy eyes lit up. Actually, sir, we do have a dragon horse, a magnificent creature. Absolutely, 1,000-mile-a-day stallion, but we have not been able to tame it. Still completely wild. Would you be interested? Now that sounded like fun. I told him to show me. He led me to a stable where a massive black horse was chained down with heavy ropes. Pure pitch black, without a single spot of color anywhere on its body. It was completely stunning. 2 handlers took turns whipping it, but the horse screamed in pure defiance. You could hear in its cry that it would never submit. I ordered them to stop. I walked around the horse very slowly, studying it carefully. The black horse carefully watched me, this dark-haired kid circling it like a curious cat, and snorted twice, glaring down at me with absolute contempt. That made me like it even more. As for taming it, I suddenly had a brilliant idea. A very me kind of idea. Everyone out, I said. I need to have a little chat with this horse. Zaha looked baffled, but did not argue. He left alongside the handlers. You and I both know what is coming. Alone with the horse, I flashed my best troublemaker grin. Somehow, the giant beast instantly felt a terrifying chill run down its spine. Can you understand me? I asked. The horse completely ignored me, proudly tossing its head. I just shrugged and pulled out a bundle. See, I learned some medicine when I was young. These are special acupuncture needles. I'm not sure if they work on horses, but I would love to find out. So please cooperate. I want to show you the joys of acupuncture. This horse had some intelligence. It could understand human speech, but it had absolutely no idea what acupuncture was. It eyed the long needle suspiciously. Were those torture tools? Was this crazy kid trying to break it through pain? I pulled out a single needle. First needle, your left hind leg goes numb. Before it could even react, I flicked the needle straight into the pressure point. Zero pain, but suddenly, the horse's left leg went completely dead. It stumbled, nearly falling over. It stared at me in horror as I pulled out another needle, still happily smiling. Second needle, right hind leg, another fast flick. The horse's back end collapsed, and it sat down on the ground, rear legs totally useless. It thrashed around wildly, trying to stand on legs that would not respond. I slowly drew a third needle, grinning wider. Now, this one goes in your front. Oh, wait. No, oh, no, almost forgot. You have another leg back there. I slowly pointed the needle downward. This one is going to make that leg go entirely numb. I raised my hand to throw. The panicked horse clamped its teeth onto my sleeve and held on for dear life. It looked at me with wide, completely terrified eyes. Pure fear, pure begging. And slowly, very slowly, it lowered both front legs to the ground and knelt before me. I named the horse Black Coal. He hated it, but he hated my acupuncture needles way more. So, he kept his complaints to angry snorts. We have been riding at full speed all day, and neither of us felt tired. You and I just watched a legendary partnership begin. I patted his head. Find water, Black Coal. We are camping. Let's dive into this. My stubborn horse snorted in disapproval, but still followed my orders. We found a nice spot by the stream. I let him graze and grab a drink while I went hunting in the woods for dinner. But wandering deeper, something felt totally off. There were zero animal tracks anywhere. Surviving for months in the wild transforms you into a seasoned hunter who catches these details. Suddenly, a strange sound caught my attention. I scrambled up the closest tree, drew my short blade, and pressed flat against the trunk. Hiding among the leaves, I slowed my breathing. Footsteps rustled through the brush. A squad of black-robed figures emerged. Hooded cloaks hid their faces, and they moved like elite trained fighters. From my hidden angle up high, I could not see their faces. Their leader stopped right near my tree, staring down at the road. His voice was freezing cold and raspy. He fiercely muttered that the targets would pass through here. He ordered them to set up the ghost lock formation, letting absolutely nobody escape. They answered his command in perfect unison. Then, they spread out across the road, creating a huge circle 30 meters wide. Some dug holes for items, while others carved magic patterns into the earth. I watched every single move clearly. I hardly knew anything about formations, but I had studied the basics in Grandpa's books. Formations require magic runes and energy cores placed beforehand. The final crucial step is always the formation eye, the ultimate key for both activating and breaking it. Once they completely finished, the leader inspected their work and nodded. He walked 8 steps to the right and 9 steps backward. Behind a huge tree, he firmly planted a tiny black flag into the earth. Now pay attention. The second that flag went down, loud, ghostly wailing erupted from the circle before turning totally silent. The leader let out a creepy laugh, waved his hand, and those black-robed figures vanished into the woods. At first, I assumed the Blackwater family had tracked me, but this trap obviously had nothing to do with me. Still, pure danger radiated heavily off them. I was completely stuck. They were probably hiding nearby, and moving meant getting spotted instantly. Being only a second-stage warrior, escaping them was impossible. But honestly, my biggest worry was Black Coal. If that foolish horse wandered over looking for me, my hiding spot would be completely blown. So, I hugged that tree tightly all night, totally awake. Luckily, Black Coal stayed put, but going completely without sleep, muscles tense and heart racing, was absolutely miserable. I truly just wanted to escape this place and finally reach St. Gobin Academy. That was all that mattered. The woods stayed eerily silent. No birds or bugs. I had zero idea where those robed figures were hiding. I held on until midday. I was starting to doze off when sudden hoofbeats echoed. I instantly snapped awake, quickly looking down the dirt road. An approaching caravan slowly revealed itself as a surprisingly tough group of actual dwarves. 10 wagons carried heavy goods, guarded by 20 dwarf warriors. Short but insanely muscular, they were rocking thick leather armor. Every single one had a thick beard and carried a massive battle axe. Their brave leader marched up front, effortlessly, holding an axe almost his own height. His giant knotted muscles looked totally capable of crushing solid stone. He heavily scanned the forest, frowning slightly, but kept marching forward. Honestly, I had absolutely never seen real dwarves before. Grandpa called them short-tempered, but kind master blacksmiths, who loved drinking alcohol more than anything else. They weren't exactly friendly toward humans, though. Earning a dwarf's trust was a seriously huge challenge. I know exactly what you are thinking. Little runts. These strong dwarves were definitely the targets from last night. Every single instinct screamed those black-robed guys meant trouble. Watching them casually walk into a trap felt awful, but I dared not move. All I could do was grip the tree, worrying in absolute silence. The caravan rolled right into the 30-meter circle. Suddenly, the horses froze completely, sensing something was terribly wrong. The leader finally sensed the extreme danger and raised his hand to halt the convoy. Every dwarf warrior confidently raised their axes, forming a tight defensive ring. The boss cruelly mocked them, saying he had been waiting a very long time. His raspy voice echoed through the woods as black-robed figures stepped out from everywhere, totally surrounding the caravan. The tough dwarves did not flinch. Honestly, they looked eager to fight. The fierce dwarf leader aggressively slammed his massive axe down, shaking the trees. He angrily demanded to know if they were the true cowards attacking their tribe. He asked if they were ready for dwarven fury. The enemy leader scoffed. The boss told them to just call him master from now on, demanding they come quietly and forge mighty weapons for them. He called them useful runts. The dwarf leader instantly grabbed his axe and charged, refusing to waste time with words. That's where we leave it. He barely managed 2 quick steps before massive crimson chains suddenly erupted straight from the earth. Those magical chains wrapped around every single dwarf warrior, completely trapping them. Stick with me on this one. The chief swung his massive axe, but those chains instantly reformed. Everyone's movements just got slower and slower. The mysterious villain just laughed. Inside my ghost lock formation, you guys are totally helpless. Just stop fighting and become my loyal slaves. The dwarves completely ignored him, stubbornly fighting back against those heavy magical chains. His smirk vanished into pure annoyance. Fine. If you won't behave, I'll just eliminate a few of the rebellious ones. He waved his hand. The surrounding villains quickly drew their shiny weapons and charged right at the trapped dwarves. Stuck in those chains, the dwarves couldn't fight back properly. Several of them started taking heavy hits. The brave dwarf chief fought off 4 attackers without backing down. But then, that dark leader pulled out a mysterious dagger and went after the chief personally. This dark leader was insanely strong, way beyond anything I could handle at my current level. All I could do was hug that tree and worry. With the boss joining the fight, the dwarf chief really started struggling. His heavy axe swung slower and slower under the crushing weight of those red chains. Then something truly incredible happened. The brave chief let out a massive, earth-shaking war cry. His muscles swelled, faint glowing flames erupted around his body, and the magical chains finally loosened. He unleashed an epic combat technique, sending all 5 attackers flying. Even the villainous leader ended up getting heavily injured. I honestly almost cheered out loud. It was absolutely the most intense battle ever seen. The chief had activated a secret racial battle talent, and his power just jumped to an entirely different level. Watching him completely inspired me to get stronger. He quickly turned to help his friends, knocking those mysterious fighters away left and right. But seeing so many of his brave warriors getting severely hurt, his pure fury just exploded. He locked eyes on the villain, roared loudly, and charged with his massive axe raised high, ready to strike him down completely. The villain panicked. He had totally underestimated this dwarf. A vicious, dark light flashed in his eyes. Now watch this part closely. He grabbed his own loyal henchmen and ruthlessly drained their magical energy. Dark sacrifice, Ghostbind. He screamed. The trap flared with blinding red light. Those crimson chains snapped tight around the dwarf chief again, stronger than before. New ones wrapped his axe, freezing it mid-air. He pushed with everything he had, but could not budge. His sturdy body was entirely wrapped in glowing red chains. The other dwarves rushed to help their leader, but the remaining villains desperately held them all back. The dark leader stood up, brushed himself off, and arrogantly strolled right over to the trapped chief. You dare resist me? You actually thought I couldn't handle you? Once I plant my magic seal, you'll be my strongest servant. Do not worry, I will capture more of your kind for company. Serving our grand organization, the Crimson Dawn, is a huge honor for you. Hearing that, I froze completely. What did they want with so many dwarves? You and I know this Crimson Dawn sounds like pure trouble, but watching him sacrifice his own crew for power proved these guys were absolute villains. The trapped dwarf chief was visibly shaking with pure rage and intense frustration. He threw every single ounce of strength into swinging his massive axe, but those chains held it perfectly still. The villain just laughed right in his face. He stepped up closely, leaving that frozen axe blade barely an inch away from his own head. He looked up at the chief with a super mocking grin. Go ahead and swing. Can you? Be a good servant. He smugly reached up to pat his furious face, and suddenly, the magical chains completely vanished. Every single red chain flickered and disappeared. The axe, loaded with the dwarf chief's maximum strength, came crashing straight down. It struck the completely unguarded villain directly from his shoulder with absolutely devastating, world-shaking force. Everyone, dwarves and villains alike, froze in pure shock. The chief just stumbled forward, completely confused. He had absolutely no idea what happened. Only the defeated leader finally understood everything. Completely drained of his energy, he slowly turned his head. Behind him, standing by a large tree, was a figure with one arm hiding his face and the other holding a small black flag, the exact magical trap I planted the night before. He tried to speak, but was completely exhausted. His eyes stayed wide open as his energy faded away, absolutely desperate to see exactly who had outsmarted and defeated him. Without those heavy chains, the dwarves erupted. Their power was terrifying when totally free. The mysterious villains, now leaderless and panicking, quickly scattered. But the angry dwarves chased every single one down. What an epic victory. I just stood behind that tree, face covered, clutching my little flag. Trust me, you and I won't ever forget this. Stick with me here. Our guy was absolutely terrified those dark fighters might chase him. Thankfully, the intense battle wrapped up quickly. Every masked villain fell. The only sound remaining was the heavy breathing of the dwarves. He let out a quiet sigh of relief, desperately avoiding more trouble. Keeping his arm up to hide his face, he slowly backed away from the battlefield. Stop! The chief shouted. Then that fierce dwarf came charging straight at him. He just watched him completely wreck someone. The only difference now was that the chief had dropped his massive axe. But honestly, that charge was still absolutely terrifying. His hands turned freezing cold, pure panic setting in. The massive warrior stopped right in front and studied him. A nervous kid, awkwardly hiding his face, gripping a tiny black flag. The chief seriously looked like he was putting the puzzle together. He stared down, suddenly panicking that this super intense warrior might completely misunderstand the whole situation. He instantly blurted out, "I am no enemy. I just helped you guys out." Then he spilled the entire story. How he arrived last night, got totally stuck up a tree, and watched the enemy set up traps. He memorized where the magic trap was hidden, waiting all night without daring to move. The sturdy dwarves gathered closely as he spoke. When he finally finished talking, the chief let his glowing red aura fade. The second that energy vanished, he looked exhausted. He reached into his magical storage, yanked out a gigantic wooden barrel, popped the lid, and started chugging hard. Dark liquor splashed right from his beard onto the dirt. The scent was wild, pure, concentrated power. Grandpa was totally right about dwarves and drinking. He still had no idea why he even stepped into that fight. Maybe he just could not stand watching good people get totally crushed. Watch closely now. He kept his face completely covered the whole time, absolutely terrified that if any enemy survived and saw him, they would definitely track him down for some brutal payback later. After the chief chugged down most of that gigantic barrel, his wild energy completely bounced back. He noticed our guy still standing there awkwardly hiding his face, and just burst into booming laughter. Then he grabbed our kid, pulled him right in, and gave him a massive hug. His thick arms slammed against our hero's back twice, as he said with total sincerity, "Thank you, my friend." That hug nearly broke him. Those two friendly little pats hurt worse than almost any beating he had ever taken in his entire life. He literally could not even speak. He just stood there freezing, teeth firmly clenched, with watering eyes. The surrounding warriors roared with loud laughter at his hilarious expression. The chief noticed how totally fragile he was and scratched his head sheepishly. "Sorry about that, friend. My name is Casa. What is yours?" He held his heavy wooden barrel out. He leaned against the tree, catching his breath, and a weird thought hit him. His strict father really does love him. All those years of strict training, and his dad never hit him as hard as this cheerful dwarf's friendly pat. He brushed the thought away, looked at their warm, super eager faces, and finally smiled. "My name is Ashura. I am from the Olai Kingdom." He grabbed the barrel. It was incredibly heavy, but he copied exactly what Casa did. He tilted it back and gulped hard. What he completely missed was that among dwarves, sharing a personal drink is the ultimate sign of true friendship. Can you believe this? That drink Casa shared was actually their legendary war god wine, an epic potion that literally burns like lava going down and triggers some seriously insane power effects. Growing up, he used to sneak sips of his grandpa's drinks constantly, so he had built up a pretty solid tolerance, but nothing prepared him for dwarf alcohol. One gulp, and he turned red. His entire body flushed burning hot. Wild energy surged through him like a roaring river breaking a dam. And just like that, he smashed right into Warrior 3rd stage. He simply could not believe it. One epic sip, and he hit the exact perfect level required. Ready for the St. Gobain Academy entrance exam. He had been so stressed about his traveling training, and that massive problem just solved itself. He was so thrilled he grabbed the heavy barrel and took another huge gulp, nearly falling. His energy was pumping wildly, and he felt completely incredible, but there was no second power jump. The magic only worked on the first sip. The jolly dwarves roared with laughter, watching him stumble around. Casa grinned widely at him and explained, "My friend, that is our war god wine, the world's absolute finest. It boosts vital energy, instantly heals injuries, restores stamina, clears bad status effects, raises fighting spirit and improves bedroom skills." He just kept talking. He quickly waved his hands to completely cut the guy off before things got weird. He is 14. Sure, he is curious about girls, but definitely not discussing that publicly. He bowed super deeply to the warriors. "Thank you for sharing this amazing drink. I have never tasted anything so awesome, and it literally helped me level up. I am truly grateful." So what do we learn here? Praising their legendary drink makes these awesome warriors way happier than complimenting their epic combat skills ever could. Let's dive right back in. Casa cheerfully grabbed my arm. "Come join our dwarf tribe. We will feast with endless meat and drinks." He pulled me toward the carts with insane iron strength. "I really cannot," I replied quickly. "I would absolutely love to, but something urgent came up. I must reach St. Gobain Academy, and it is crazily far. With under 3 months left, I might not even make it in time. I cannot afford any detours." Casa stopped, realizing my total seriousness. "All right then, young hero. That academy is super far, and you should definitely know this. The Byron and Yeti nations ahead are currently battling. Roads are totally blocked. You must take a detour." My stomach completely dropped. Thank goodness I met these guys. Wandering into a battle zone would have trapped me for weeks. Maybe the universe was rewarding my good deed. I calmly asked, "Who are those dark fighters? Why were they ambushing you guys?" Casa walked over to the fallen boss, pulling his hood. Underneath was a creepy, pale guy. He found a storage belt. Magical seals fade when owners fall, so anyone can open them. Inside were sparkling coins, healing pills, plain clothes, and one super important item, a map. Unrolling it, Cass's face grew incredibly furious. "I have no idea who they are. They attacked us recently. When direct combat failed, they blocked our paths and ambushed our supply teams. Many friends vanished. I led this specific group out, and without your epic help, we would be totally gone." He poked a thick finger at the leather. "These spots show various dwarf camps. Other groups are targets too. A nearby goblin camp got hit. I must hurry back and report this madness to our chief immediately. Watch closely here, because I spotted a weird sun and moon tattoo. It gave me chills. During our crazy fight, he mentioned taking you to the Crimson Dawn group to forge some weapons. Have you ever heard of them?" He shook his massive beard. "No way. We dwarves stay hidden. We only leave for supplies and never start drama with any shady groups. If they want a fight, they better fear our axes." He swung his massive weapon for emphasis. I gulped. The last guy that shiny blade touched was resting in 2 pieces. The other stacked loot from the defeated fighters. "Nothing too fancy," Casa waved. "Take what you want. I just need the map." I grabbed healing pills from my belt, leaving the shiny coins completely alone. The dwarves needed cash for essential supplies, valuing it way more than me. Casa noticed. His respect for me skyrocketed. Fighting through visible heartbreak, he magically pulled out 2 giant barrels of warrior wine. "Since you must rush, my friend, take these fantastic drinks for the road. Next time you pass by, visit our mountain cave home for a real party." I beamed, grinning widely. I quickly packed those barrels. "Absolutely. When the academy allows, I will visit you. And please watch out for that Crimson Dawn crew. Maybe unite all the local camps to battle them together." Cass's eyes grew huge. He clearly thought that idea was genius. Dwarves are fierce brawlers, but humans strategize differently. I hugged everyone. Their rough bond felt wonderfully real. waving cheerfully, jogged back campward, pulling out the flag. You and I both know the stolen magical item gave off seriously bad vibes. Without overthinking things, I tossed it directly into the river, watching it quickly float away. Back at my spot, Black Coal was chilling, happily eating grass, without a single care ever. I was furious. I spent hours surviving pure danger, and this lazy horse never even searched for me. He probably dreamt of my permanent absence, just so he could roam free. But catching my scary fake smile, all 5 of his wobbly legs, yes, all 5, shook like absolute crazy. He rushed over, cuddling like a loyal puppy. I wanted to scold him, but daylight was burning fast. Grunting loudly, I hopped onto his back, zooming at maximum speed toward St. Gobain Academy. I had no clue that 3 days later, 2 shadowy figures found my tossed flag washed ashore downstream. One guy held the wet fabric, whispering, "This is the exact magical tool I gave Nilo." He failed. So who ruined everything? Trust me, we will find out. The shadowy villain realized his tracking flag was tossed away. He figured whoever discarded it had easily sensed and completely crushed his hidden soul imprint. That meant they were definitely dealing with an insanely powerful warrior or some legendary master. His partner panicked instantly. If an expert that strong is watching us, we are totally compromised. Tell absolutely everyone in this region to stop their operations and hide until we get further orders. You and I know the truth. That terrifying expert, just a cheerful 14-year-old kid, currently galloping across the countryside on a very grumpy black horse. Tossing that weird flag on a total whim just saved our guy from some massive, unseen disaster. But it also meant he had accidentally brushed right up against something way bigger and wilder than he ever imagined. He rode hard all night. Dodging massive tree branches in the dark at a full sprint was dangerous. But he had zero choice. It was already day 2 of the Academy's strict 3-day entrance exam. If he didn't hit St. Gobain City by tomorrow, everything was ruined. Even his horse, Black Coal, sensed the pure desperation. For once, the stubborn horse dropped the attitude and sprinted with everything he had. When the morning sky finally turned bright, he saw it. A massive, breathtaking city built right into the steep side of a mountain. St. Gobain City. The Dream Academy waited inside. He literally stood up on Black Coal's back, letting out a massive, joyful shout into the morning breeze. Months of heavy pressure instantly vanished from his chest. People on the street stared like he was just some goofy country kid seeing a mega city for the first time. He didn't care, but his manners kicked in fast, and he sat down properly. St. Gobain City was known as a totally free place. All races and classes living together. Young academy students walked everywhere. These were the continent's absolute elite. When they graduate, they become absolute powerhouses. Stick with me, I will explain how this wild world works. There are 4 massive empires on the King's continent: Valency, Pagadan, Sinbi, and Galanan. They are roughly equal in power, and their huge territories form a giant ring round the most dangerous place in the entire world, the Magic Beast Forest. Even the strongest legendary fighters never dare go deep inside. Insane high-level beasts and endless monster tides destroy everything. Beyond these empires lies the endless sea, holding completely unknown mysteries. Plus, each empire hosts 2 famous academies, making 8 total. They are all built at key passes into the forest, serving as humanity's ultimate shield against terrifying monster tides. Graduates are hugely respected by everyday people and heavily recruited by every major faction. Augustus Academy was way closer to home, but his controlling Blackwater family forced him to St. Gobain, clear across the Valency Empire. The whole city was practically buzzing with wild excitement because of the massive 3-year enrollment. He didn't even need to ask for directions. He just followed the massive crowd flowing uphill toward the academy. The exam site was totally packed. Local residents watching for fun, sneaky spies from major factions scouting fresh talent, and even noble daughters seeking future husbands. Marrying an academy student was considered a huge jackpot match, even as a secondary wife. Students naturally needed noble resources too, so the arrangement worked both ways perfectly. He squeezed through the dense crowd with Black Coal and finally hit the exam area. Hardly any applicants were left. Most people had already finished testing in the first 2 days. He was shaking with pure excitement. He quickly smoothed his messy hair and walked straight to the table. Three strict examiners sat behind a huge stone desk, two young guys and an older man in the middle, all wearing sharp instructor uniforms, totally stone-faced and serious. He filled out a quick form with his name and hometown, took a massive breath, and handed it straight to the young examiner at the main warrior testing station. The guy barely glanced at the form, checked him over, and flatly ordered, "Applicant, grip the red testing stone. Channel your energy so we can measure your martial level." He grabbed the red stone on the desk and pushed his energy into it. Instantly, it glowed a warm, bright crimson. Result: Warrior, 3rd stage. The examiner announced in that same flat tone. His heart completely soared. 3rd stage was exactly the minimum requirement. He made it. But pay close attention here. Hear those whispers? The crowd behind him was suddenly snickering and laughing. Before he could process why, the examiner bluntly continued, "Result invalid. You cannot be admitted. Please leave." Those brutal words hit like a thunderbolt. The cruel laughter behind him grew louder. He honestly couldn't believe what he just heard. "Why?" he demanded angrily. "The universal standard for all 8 academies is warrior or mage. 3rd stage. I clearly meet the absolute requirement. Why won't you let me in?" The strict examiner had clearly expected this reaction. He calmly replied, "Because all warrior 3rd stage spots are completely filled. The academy accepts 2,000 students every 3 years, 1,600 warriors at 3rd stage or above, 300 mages, and 100 in special rare categories. That is the max we provide resources for." His voice turned sharp. "All 2,000 spots filled up yesterday. The path of the strong rewards those who arrive on time. Brutal, right? So what do you and I learn here? Never show up late to your destiny. Stick with me here." We are kicking things off with the completely brutal rejection right out the gate. This guy had zero clue about the grueling travel, ruthless bandits, and endless sleepless nights. "I just survive." I refused to beg. I swallowed my growing anger, looking right at him. "So why are you still sitting here if classes are completely packed?" He raised an eyebrow. Most rejected applicants threw massive fits or completely broke down crying. Seeing me perfectly calm honestly shocked him. "Because we always save elite spots for true genius applicants." He smirked, looking incredibly smug. "If you were a warrior master right now, you would easily get a pass. But you are not, so get out. Stop holding up the line." I turned away, feeling absolutely, utterly crushed inside. What on earth could I do? Going home was impossible. I carried my entire family's future. But seriously, what now? Suddenly, a massive crowd swarmed me. Faction reps and random recruiters from tiny schools. They shoved desperate invitations right in my face, begging me to join. The fancy noble girls stayed far back, probably judging my total peasant look. All this loud noise just made my terrible headache even worse. Then, a breathtaking silver carriage surrounded by elite guards, aggressively pushed through the massive crowd, parking right up at the exam area. This thing was absolute luxury, pure silver, pulled by 4 gorgeous white horses that made my own ride look absolutely pathetic and weak. No clue who they were, but that driver gave off an incredibly terrifying, insanely dangerous aura. Trust me, any family rocking a driver this insanely strong is someone you and I never cross. The second that flashy carriage rolled up, every single recruiter swarming me totally ditched me and ran over to gawk at the new arrival. I clicked my tongue, super annoyed, but still watched. Part of me really hoped this wealthy kid would also get rejected for showing up so incredibly late. The guard opened the door, revealing a gorgeous silver-haired girl. My age, maybe older, but she was already an absolute stunning showstopper. Flawless porcelain skin, perfect features, rocking a silver dress matching her hair. She had this freezing, untouchable vibe that instantly made everyone else feel incredibly tiny. Just standing near her, I had never seen anyone that pretty. But honestly, my brain was way too stressed about academy enrollment to stand there and stare at her. The 3 examiners played it cool, though I totally caught the young guy's eyes widening as he sat up much straighter in his chair. She gave a tiny polite bow, signed her paperwork, and strolled right over to the young female examiner handling the magic testing station. The examiner checked her form, eyes going huge for a second before she awkwardly played it cool. "Applicant, grab the magic stone. Push your energy inside so we can officially grade your element and rank." The girl simply nodded, skipped any prep, and confidently grabbed the glowing white stone. We both knew this was coming, right? Boom! Pure silver light erupted everywhere, leaving the poor examiner completely speechless. Lightning element. First stage. The entire crowd absolutely lost it. Everyone started frantically guessing her background and insane potential. But this girl literally did not even blink. She just stood there, icy cool, acting like she had done this a million times. Did I pass? She asked softly. The examiner remained completely frozen in total shock. The older examiner awkwardly coughed, successfully snapping her right back to actual reality. Blushing hard, she flashed a massive smile. Of course you passed. A rare lightning mage. That alone guarantees your spot in this academy right now. Plus hitting first stage already? You are officially a genius tier student. Clara, welcome to the prestigious St. Gobain Academy today. The crowd cheered like crazy. Everyone just desperately wanted to witness a true prodigy making history today. Clara finally cracked a genuine smile. Behind that icy exterior, she was just a normal, cheerful teenager. She was only late because she had been actively leveling up. Getting that official approval clearly made her super incredibly happy. She reached out to grab her shiny new academy badge. Wait a minute, I yelled. Every single person snapped their heads toward me. Any lightning mage gets a guaranteed genius spot? Really? They get it no matter how full the classes are. You just said that. The whole crowd glared like I was completely crazy. Was I not the massive failure who just flopped the warrior test? Why was I asking about magic enrollment? Had failing totally fried my brain? I ignored them all, staring directly at the examiner. Even Clara turned around to look at me right then. I could totally tell. She assumed I was just some desperate guy trying to get her attention. Honestly, that probably happened to her all the time. But when she saw my intense stare blow right past her without stopping, she realized she was totally wrong about me. You and I saw it. She looked relieved, but weirdly annoyed. Let's dive in. The female examiner frowned, totally annoyed. Just having the lightning element does not instantly make you a genius. However, since lightning mages are incredibly rare, the academy has a strict rule. Anyone with this element gets admitted through a special extra slot. The moment she said those magic words, everything just clicked. My eyes totally lit up. Are you absolutely certain? I pressed her. Any lightning applicant can join? I am certain, she snapped impatiently. I do not make rules. She clearly sensed something was off about this whole conversation, but could not pinpoint it. Before she could even process it, I was already moving. I sprinted forward, scribbled out a fresh application form, slammed it on her desk, grabbed the white magic testing stone with both of my hands, and screamed incredibly loudly, "Light up!" Under my desperate shouting, and the completely bewildered stares of the crowd, the stone started glowing, a faint, flickering silver light. Everyone froze in place. They stared at that tiny silver glow in my hands like they had seen a literal ghost. Honestly, I was panicking on the inside. I hardly had any lightning magic within me. I had only meditated maybe a few times in my life, and never actually done real training. Now watch this part closely. The glow was weak, barely flickering. I was sweating bullets. Come on please, we had a deal. Just announce the final result already. What absolutely nobody noticed was the faint gray light flashing underneath that silver glow. But thankfully, that little secret stayed completely hidden from everyone. Finally, the examiner broke the silence. Lightning element. Level magic apprentice. First stage. She stuttered. I dropped that stone so fast. I locked eyes with the female examiner, breathing extremely heavily, with sweat pouring down my entire face. Everyone was short-circuiting right now. Why would a warrior have magical talent? Especially lightning magic. Literally one of the absolute rarest types. Why would a gifted lightning talent waste their time training as a basic warrior instead of doing magic? Clara was staring at me too. Jaw totally dropped. She could not figure me out. When she awakened her lightning talent, her whole family threw a truly massive celebration. Her grandfather literally named her the top priority of their generation. Meanwhile, here I was, apparently sitting on that exact same rare talent and doing nothing. The examiner just kept staring at me silently. I could not take it. Dear examiner, shouldn't you be giving me my badge right now? She finally frowned. You are technically a lightning mage, but your level. I cut her off instantly before she finished. That is not what you just said. Everyone here heard you. You promised. The academy rules say any rare lightning element mage can be fully admitted. You are not going to bully a kid and break your promise, right? I turned directly to the crowd. The whispers instantly grew a lot louder. You and I both know she was trapped. She looked helplessly at her colleagues. The older male examiner shot me a very annoyed look. He saw exactly what I did. I had set a trap for his colleague from question 1 and used the angry crowd to pressure them perfectly. A kid with a head full of sneaky schemes. Still, he knew the circus had to end. The three of them huddled together, whispered for a quick minute, then finally decided. The older examiner flashed a smile that I honestly did not trust. Since you are a lightning mage eager to study, we will not violate our enrollment principles. He sighed. I held my breath in absolute suspense. Congratulations, you passed. Student Ashura, welcome to St. Gobin Academy. I literally jumped into the air. I actually pulled it off. After the months of travel, bandits, scary war zones, and riding through nights, I was finally in. But that shady smile on his face made me super uneasy. My gut feeling said I would definitely pay for the stunt later. I grabbed the academy badge with both hands, grinning like a massive fool. Nearby, Clara had watched this entire crazy scene play out. I could totally feel her eyes judging. She was probably thinking she could never pull off a stunt like that. Mostly because she simply did not have the sheer nerve to be that completely shameless in public. The old examiner's voice pulled us back. Guard your badges well. They work as scorecards, trading tools, and messaging devices. They prove you belong to this academy. Do not lose them. You may enter now. The badges will guide you from here on. Good luck. We both bowed. Yes, sir. Clara marched straight toward the massive gates without looking back. I went the opposite way to untie Black Hole from his post, bringing him through the gates with me. Inside, the view was breathtaking. Huge ancient trees, classic stone buildings, and students in cool uniforms and robes walking everywhere. Everyone wore fancy academy clothes, except newbies like me, still in travel gear. Trust me, you will love what happens next. Up ahead, tons of older guys swarmed Clara, trying to flirt and bag her badge. Contact number. She scowled, looking completely annoyed. I just glanced at the whole awkward scene, gave a little shrug, and walked away. But honestly, she saw me leaving, and that somehow made her even more absolutely furious. Stick with me. We are about to explore an academy that will absolutely blow your mind. Incredible statues of legendary graduates lined the walkways, each flashing a plaque of their epic achievements. These heroes became the absolute greatest warriors and mages across the entire magical continent. Every statue just hyped me up to get stronger. Honestly, I did not need my own monument. I just needed insane power so I could finally return home and rescue my family. I remembered my dad warning me to stay hidden and quiet until I grew truly strong. I would train in secret and then return to get justice for my brother. My badge suddenly buzzed with a message. New student Ashura, report to dorm 138. You get a private room inside. Drop your gear and send any mount to the academy stables. All newbies must gather at War God Plaza by dusk. Anyone late or absent gets instantly expelled. So, I took Black Hole directly to the academy stables. First, the second, he spotted some lovely mares inside. His hooves practically danced with pure excitement. I glared at him with pure annoyance, but then remembered I paid 10 gold coins for this ridiculous horse, so I slowly relaxed my hands. This campus was truly massive. I walked half the day and still missed a huge chunk. The dorms were rows of cozy 2-story buildings. Guys on one side, girls right across the street. I found building 138, pushed my badge in, and the thick door clicked open. Downstairs was just a simple, completely basic common room with the table. Upstairs held 4 bedrooms, with 3 already claimed. I yelled out twice, but heard absolute silence. My roommates probably headed to the plaza already. My room was completely bare. Just a wardrobe, a simple desk, a chair, and one single bed. I barely had anything to unpack anyway. I closed the door and instantly sprinted toward War God Plaza. I absolutely could not be late today. Now pay attention here. I asked for directions the entire run, finally reaching a massive, wildly buzzing crowd of completely fresh new students. Nobody knew anyone yet. A few guys from the same dorms formed small groups, whispering and quietly laughing about the cute girls they had spotted. Classic behavior. I was scanning the huge crowd when my eyes locked onto a cold, very familiar stare. Clara, that silver-haired girl from the exam. Finally, someone I actually kind of knew. I smiled and cheerfully waved. She scoffed, instantly turned her head, and completely looked away. My hand just awkwardly hung right there in the air. I scratched my nose and awkwardly looked away too. Suddenly, a loud bell chimed. 2 magical figures gracefully descended from the sky, hovering above the plaza. 1 warrior, 1 mage. Both academy instructors. The new students went absolutely wild, screaming and cheering. I was absolutely amazed. I had no clue what crazy tier allowed flying, but I was totally certain the Blackwater family possessed 0 members. Who could ever pull that off? I instantly started daydreaming about soaring back to LA someday. Total silence. A voice cut through. Not loud, but it somehow echoed right next to everyone's ear at once. The plaza went instantly silent. The massive, incredibly muscular guy stepped forward. "Hello, newcomers. I am Philman, Dean of the Warrior Academy. Beside me is Saining Magic Academy Dean." The elegant mage politely tipped a stylish hat to greet us. Philman continued, "Welcome to St. Gobin Academy. Now, let me carefully explain the rules and how things work here. You and I know the usual trope, right? Well, here, your powerful family background means absolutely nothing. Inside this academy, you are completely alone. Try flashing your family wealth, and you get instantly expelled." Several wealthy kids nervously shifted in their places. Others did not care. Second, all training resources must be hard-earned. Gold and jewels are totally worthless. The only valid currency is academy points, which you earn by climbing rankings and finishing tough academy missions. You can also trade points privately with other students. Students from simple backgrounds lit up, while the rich kids frowned. The academy had just perfectly leveled the entire playing field. Third rule, there are not many strict limits. You completely plan your own schedule. Take whichever classes you want, or skip them completely and train solo. The academy honestly will not interfere with you. But here is the catch. You get 9 years max. Hit Grand Warrior 3rd stage or Grand Mage 3rd stage before then, and you finally earn your diploma. Fail to hit that goal in 9 years, you leave empty-handed, and worse, your kids and grandkids will be permanently banned from entering any academy ever again. A massive gasp rippled through the crowd, but most of us felt completely confident. Everyone here had the pure talent to crush the entrance exam. Obviously, we could totally graduate. Then Philman dropped one final warning. The exact details are in your badge messages, but remember this. So what do you and I take from this? Fight outside the arena and face brutal punishment. Fair enough. Stick with me here. Put 2,000 young hotshots together, and intense brawls are basically guaranteed, right? Then Dean Saining stepped up, smiling warmly. Tomorrow, you all get sorted into classes matching your stats. Your badge shows where to report. You also get uniforms, since no other clothes are allowed on campus. His voice sounded super friendly, but his very next sentence sent major chills down everyone's spine. 3 months from today is your first major evaluation. Almost all of you sit at Warrior 3rd stage or Mage 3rd stage right now. Within 3 months, every single combat student has to reach the Warrior Master or Full Mage tier. You take the test together, and you have to unleash a totally devastating attack on a dummy. Fall short of that level or launch a weak attack, and you get expelled permanently. The entire plaza exploded with absolute panic. Everyone thought passing the entrance exam was the hardest part. Nope, just the warm-up. Saining actually smiled at our total shock. Do not act surprised. You will face countless intense missions and tests during your stay. Fail even one, and you are gone. You will adapt. Historically, our total graduation rate sits around 50%. He paused. And the rate of students who vanish forever is nearly 30%. Try your hardest. Total silence fell. 50%. Graduation rate. Nobody ever mentioned that little detail. Then again, the dropouts probably never wanted to share their epic failures anyway. Now watch closely. 30% never make it back? What kind of insane academy is this? While we stood frozen, Saining turned totally serious. Cultivation is an endless, uphill battle against the raging current. If you refuse to fight, you become nothing but forgotten dust on this massive continent. But if you push limits, crush the competition, and gain real power, you become the brightest star alive. Your destiny rests entirely in your hands. Figuring out exactly who you become is why you are here. Find your answer. Good luck. Dismissed. Both legendary deans turned and soared away, disappearing into the clouds. But those intense words echoed in my mind for hours on end. I walked away much later, those heavy words looping inside my brain. Watching real humans fly through the sky completely shattered my entire worldview. I craved that exact same incredible power. Reaching my assigned dorm room, I pushed open the door and found 3 guys already hanging out. Every single one of them turned and stared at me instantly. Let us pause for a second. Before I even spoke, a super charming, well-dressed guy stood up smiling. You must be roommate number 4. I heard anyone arriving late passed using the genius quota. Suddenly, the other 2 sized me up with major interest. My face burned red. No, seriously? I just got incredibly lucky. They totally assumed I faked modesty. The rich kid just laughed. We share this place for 9 whole years, man. There is absolutely zero need to play. Totally humble. Let us do introductions. I am Jinza, water element mage, 3rd stage. He glanced at a blonde kid sitting nearby. This blonde guy wore basic clothes, but totally gave off major elite noble family vibes. Every tiny movement he made looked incredibly elegant. He gave a slight nod. I am Arthur, Warrior Master, 1st stage. I legitimately almost choked. Warrior Master tier, that completely met the 3-month evaluation standard. The raw talent hiding here was entirely unreal. The last guy stood up, super shy with messy hair. I am Angelo, just call me Lola. I study weapon and equipment forging. The academy only took 100 non-combat students. Lola was definitely one. All 3 stared expectantly. I am Ashura, warrior, 3rd stage. The room fell silent. 3 pairs of suspicious eyes glared at me. They basically thought, warrior, 3rd stage, passing the strict genius quota. That makes 0 sense. I almost explained the wild exam mess. But Jinsei smoothly changed the subject. Awesome. How old are you? Turns out, we share the same birth year. Just different months. Age-wise, Jinsei ranked 1st, Arthur 2nd, me 3rd, then Lola. After that, our conversational topics burned out incredibly fast. We basically sat there in brutal, awkward silence, staring. Arthur finally muttered, I am going to rest, breaking the weird spell. Escaping to our rooms felt like pure relief. Seeing my plain, narrow single bed hit me with a massive emotional wave that almost broke me. 6 brutal months roughing it on dirt floors and muddy riverbanks. My first real mattress since leaving home. Falling back, I seriously wanted to cry, but refused. Crying never actually solves a single thing. Trust me here. Day 1, and 2 classmates completely outrank me by an entire power tier. This heavy pressure is an absolutely terrifying reality. I fell asleep stressing. Next morning, I woke up super early. Rough travel makes that a permanent habit. My badge ordered me to classroom 13 inside a specific building. Downstairs, Jinsei and Arthur already ate simple breakfasts. The elite academy provided a free cafeteria. Stick with me here, because this wild academy arc starts right now. Most kids just shoved food in their bags to maximize their intense training time. Jinsei figured I hadn't stocked up, tossing me a massive roasted meat sandwich with a cheerful grin. I thanked him, devouring it instantly, while Lola stayed completely knocked out. His program clearly ran on a completely different schedule. We traded fast goodbyes and rushed toward our separate classrooms. I strolled along in my heavy warrior gear, dreaming about my upcoming epic classes, until I hit my assigned building and felt a massive chilling drop. Every single student walking in and out was wearing flowing, elegant mage robes. I stood there like an absolute fool, the only guy rocking warrior gear at the entrance. Then, a terrifying realization finally struck. They had thrown me into the Magic Academy. I had literally never trained spells. I was barely a 1st stage apprentice. Absolute disaster. Then, the memory hit me. That older examiner flashing a sly, knowing grin, handing over my badge. That super smug look instantly made total sense. He did this on purpose because I used that crazy lightning mage loophole to sneak in. Fine then. I would play the part of a mage student perfectly. I silently vowed to rip out every single hair of that old man's beard. Watch closely, because things get incredibly awkward now. I gritted my teeth, marching inside classroom 13, and the whole place went completely dead silent. Nearly 10 early students shamelessly stared at the black-haired guy in heavy warrior gear like he had just crashed the entirely wrong building. Honestly, a completely fair reaction. Ignoring their judging gazes, I confidently strode toward the back row by the window and slammed myself down. A chubby kid sitting directly in front of me spun around. Hey, are you in the entirely wrong room? There are absolutely no warrior classes in this whole building. Trust me. I exhaled a huge sigh. I really wish I was in the wrong room. But this is exactly where my badge told me to go. He sat there, completely clueless on how to process that. Everyone else just wrote me off as a massive weirdo and resumed their chatter. Suddenly, the door swung open, revealing a stunning silver-haired girl taking elegant, graceful steps. My entrance caused confusion, but her absolute beauty hypnotized them. The room froze instantly again. A skinny kid wearing super expensive mage robes instantly flashed a blinding smile, eagerly pulling out the empty chair beside his own desk. My beautiful lady, sit right here. He performed a highly elaborate gentlemanly gesture. She completely ignored him, strolling right past like he was invisible. Furniture. That poor guy's flashy smile instantly froze over. Thankfully, everyone was mesmerized by her, completely missing his massive humiliation. I recognized her instantly as Clara. Obviously, she landed in my class. Both of us were lightning mages. Made sense. She quickly spotted me. Hard to miss me. We can all agree this is super awkward, right? The only warrior gear among magical robes. Sitting way back, I stuck out horribly like a sore thumb. She looked genuinely shocked for a split second, before her lips twitched into a smirk. She was definitely remembering my chaotic performance at the entrance exam. That tiny little smirk absolutely devastated the chubby kid in front of me. I could literally hear his frantic brain screaming. The goddess just smiled at me, then she walked his way. Well, toward our section, and his poor heart probably stopped. She took a seat diagonally behind him, precisely one desk to my right, separated by nothing but a super narrow aisle. The chubby guy was totally frozen stiff, panicking. Why did she choose that exact seat? Is she staring at me? Should I fix my messy hair? Does my side profile look attractive from over there? Clara finally settled in, scanned the quiet room, tilted her head, and intensely stared right at me. Didn't say a single word, just stared. I had absolutely zero clue how to handle that. Yesterday, she brutally ignored my friendly wave. Today, she was studying me like a complex puzzle. Fine, then. I will be the bigger man and say hello. I forced a terribly awkward smile, half raised my hand, quickly dropped it, and managed a pathetic, "Ah, long time no see." She immediately burst out laughing. "Idiot," she whispered, flashing the sweetest smile ever. When Clara called me an idiot, my face went totally dark. I angrily turned away, swearing to myself I'd never speak to this girl again. Honestly, she seemed to find that even more hilarious. I guess every guy she knew was flawlessly charming, showing off like proud peacocks. A totally blunt, ridiculously awkward dude like me was a brand new experience. That is probably exactly why she chose the desk beside me. Pure curiosity. Thankfully, nobody heard her insult me. They only saw her gracefully covering her mouth, giggling in my direction, and naturally assumed she was mocking my warrior outfit like everyone else. A handful of guys subtly shuffled their seats toward the back, desperately trying to get near her. The other girls heavily rolled their eyes. Nobody wanted to compete with her beauty. Then, a bell chimed, and our stunning homeroom teacher proudly walked in. She was absolutely breathtaking, easily as beautiful as Clara, but completely different, far more mature, radiating a seriously alluring confidence. Her stunning purple mage robes hugged a figure, making every single guy in the room completely forget how to breathe. If Clara was a freezing winter moon, this woman was a brilliant summer sunset. "Hello, Magic Class 13. I am Ella, your homeroom teacher. I'll guide your class from now on. Got questions about magic training? Just find me. I genuinely hope we all get along perfectly well. You and I just witnessed peak luck." The guys were going crazy. Two literal goddesses? Choosing St. Gobain was the greatest decision ever. Stick with me, Ella just graduated this very academy as absolute top tier. Her grandfather, Professor Iway, a legendary instructor who reached the terrifying Grand Magic Guide level. Ella herself hit Magic Guide 2nd stage. Totally overqualified to lead freshmen. Hilariously, tons of male graduates actually stayed on as instructors for one reason. Just to keep aggressively pursuing her. Zero success for them so far. This was her very first time as a homeroom teacher, and honestly, she was feeling pretty nervous. The academy handed her class 13. Why? It was the absolute smallest. Just 14 students, all lightning mages, exactly 7 boys and 7 girls. Lightning mages were incredibly rare. That is exactly why the academy had a special admission rule for us. What I missed was Ella feeling super excited about getting an elite, easy to manage class. That is, until she finally checked the actual student roster. 4 students already hit the actual mage level, making them way stronger than any other class. But there was also one specific student listed at merely magic apprentice first stage. She actually sprinted straight to her friend, the female examiner from the entrance test, begging to know if they made a huge mistake. Hearing the wild story of how I somehow got in left her totally speechless. But honestly, she wasn't even worried about me tanking the class rankings. Now watch closely. She was terrified I'd completely fail the 3-month evaluation and get immediately expelled. She memorized my name immediately, secretly deciding to give me extra guidance so I wouldn't get completely eliminated. Otherwise, her class drops to 13. Allah blushed slightly at their excited stares, then noticed something really weird. The front rows were totally empty, while everyone crammed into the back. But spotting Clara sitting back there, it suddenly all made perfect sense. Roll call. Stand when I call your name. She went down the list one by one, glancing up to check every single student. When Clara's name dropped, the boys literally cheered. She just smiled and moved along. Then she hit the very last name. Her expression went dead serious. Ashura. I slowly stood up. Here. She just stared at me, gears totally spinning in her head. So this is him. How do I help him catch up? If I make it too obvious, will I just crush his pride? She was zoned out for so long that everyone noticed their beautiful teacher staring at me with this wildly intense, almost tender look. The whispering started instantly. He is actually in our class? Why is she staring like that? Is she into him? He is not even better looking than me. At this point, even Clara furrowed her eyebrows. Honestly, I had absolutely zero clue what was happening. Is my handsome face really that shocking? No way, right? I couldn't handle the awkward staring anymore. Teacher, can I sit down? That snapped her right back to reality, her cheeks flushing bright red. You know what's coming. A huge misunderstanding. The class's eyes bounced between us like a wild tennis match. A few girls looked like they just scored the juiciest gossip of the entire year. Allah recovered and kept going. Starting today, class has officially begun. Your course schedules are posted on the big bulletin boards right outside the main halls. This room is our home base, but actual classes happen elsewhere. You are totally free to pick whatever courses and instructors you want. Our main goal right now is surviving that 3-month evaluation. I hope everyone works incredibly hard. I will do whatever it takes to help you. She locked eyes with me on that last part. Naturally, I just pretended to ignore it completely. Time to pick class officers. Since our group is tiny, we only need a president and a study committee leader. These two will team up to manage everything. Anyone interested can stand up and make their pitch. Absolute, dead silence. Nobody wanted a stupid job cutting into their precious training time. Ella just smiled. Oh, I totally forgot. Officers get massive bonus academy points. Suddenly, every single hand shot up. After learning that points were the only currency that mattered around here, those bonus points were basically pure gold. But then one voice sliced right through the chaos. The room fell silent before completely exploding into massive applause. Clara volunteered for class president. Nobody objected. Nobody even dared to compete. Beauty truly conquers everything. Ella looked thrilled. Wonderful. Clara is president. Now, who wants to step up as our study leader? Several boys almost jumped out of their seats. But then, I felt Clara's intense gaze burning a massive hole straight into my head. I glanced over and caught her absolutely glaring at me, her eyes practically screaming, "You volunteer right this second." I instantly stared out the window like I found a fascinating bird. No way. A weak first stage apprentice acting as study leader? The entire academy would literally laugh us out of existence. The position went to Kale, that thin kid who tried giving Clara his seat before. He was a first stage lightning mage from a seriously powerful family. Getting to work right alongside Clara as a fellow officer made him absolutely glow with pure happiness. He kept turning around, staring at her with these fiery eyes. Clara sat there completely expressionless. but I strongly felt she was mentally striking me with massive lightning bolts. That's where we leave it. Finally, Ella handed everyone their official mage robes. Alright, come along with me. The Magic Academy of St. Gobain is officially starting, and from now on, uniforms are strictly required for every single student on campus. I slipped into my brand new dark green mage robe. Finally, I didn't stick out like a sore thumb anymore. First up was Magic Fundamentals. Teacher Ella led the class, and honestly, she was absolutely brilliant. Being gorgeous definitely helped too. Everyone hung on her every single word. Well, everyone except me, since I had zero magic training. My only skill was basic meditation, picked up entirely by eavesdropping. While my mom taught my little sister, I tried it a few times just out of pure curiosity, and nothing more. Now I'm stuck in an advanced magic class. These kids trained for years, surrounded by incredible resources I could never even dream of back home. I understood absolutely nothing. It sounded like a totally foreign language to me, and cold sweat dripped down my neck the entire morning. Nobody even noticed my total panic except Clara, one aisle over. She glanced my way a few times, but stayed completely silent. 4 brutal classes that morning, 4 teachers, 4 subjects, plus 2 on lightning magic. I focused incredibly hard, but honestly, it felt hopeless. The skill gap between us was just way too massive. They had massive wealth, rare training materials, and personal tutors. Meanwhile, I'm just the clueless third son of a country general. If I can't catch up in 3 months, the big evaluation will ruin my academy life before it really begins. I dragged myself back home feeling completely and utterly defeated. Pushing open the dorm door, I found my 3 roommates chilling in the common room, sipping tea. Watch closely here. They take one look at my new mage robe and totally short circuit. Because yesterday claimed to be a 3rd stage warrior, now looked like a mage. Not wanting to explain anything, I just waved awkwardly and rushed straight for the stairs. But Ginza called out, saying he had great tea, and asked me to sit with them as his 3rd brother. I froze completely. My real brothers called me that back home. Hearing it from a guy I knew for one day cracked open a deep emotional wall inside me. Looking back at their 3 smiling faces, I grinned. Sure, I was pretty thirsty anyway. Sitting down, crossed my legs and downed the entire cup instantly. Good tea or bad tea, it didn't matter. I just really needed a drink. Ginza noticeably winced, but refilled my cup with what was clearly super expensive tea. Arthur sipped as quietly, savoring every drop like a true connoisseur. Meanwhile, Lolo literally bounced in his seat, eager to share some kind of exciting news. Ginza waited patiently until I finished my 2nd cup, then casually asked why I looked so down today. He asked if something happened, or if I got rejected by a pretty girl, offering to help out if it was a real problem. If it was romance, I was on my own. I looked at him gratefully, realizing he completely ignored my mage robe. He handed me a perfect escape route. I could easily invent an excuse, and we could just go back to joking around. But honestly, I didn't want an out. Maybe hearing 3rd brother got to me, or maybe I had just bottled up my feelings for way too long. So, I spilled everything out. My actual level, why I never studied magic, faking the entrance exam, getting stuck in a mage class, and spending the entire morning totally drowning in advanced lessons. I could not understand. I kept my family drama and my journey a secret, but I told them the rest of the truth honestly. You can picture their jaws hanging wide open. They never expected the quiet new kid to drop such a crazy story. Now, they realized I wasn't being humble or hiding secret powers yesterday at all. I was just running on pure luck and guts. Being smart guys, it barely took them a minute to realize how totally messed up my situation was. But they didn't just pity me. Jinso chimed in first, explaining that as a water mage, he could not help with my specific lightning element skills. However, he offered to teach me all the beginner magic fundamentals I missed. He even promised a proper meditation technique to help build my magic reserves up way faster. Bowing my head, I sincerely thanked him. He just waved it right off, saying we were true brothers under one roof. Arthur stayed totally cool and thought it over. He didn't know magic, but his upper year cousin was a super highly ranked earth mage. He offered his cousin as a tutor. I thanked him, but insisted Jinso's help was more than enough for now. Bothering his cousin over a total beginner felt wrong. Suddenly Lolo pulled a shiny bracelet straight out of his magical storage ring. He told me his family actually specializes in crafting awesome magical equipment. Even without using magic, he made it himself. Wearing it while casting a low-level spell actually boosts your attack power by 20%. It was exactly what I needed for the dummy test in 3 months, though it was only single-use. He handed me the single-use bracelet, shyly scratching his messy hair. Don't you just love seeing wholesome academy friendships like this? Let's dive right in. I gripped the bracelet, looking at their encouraging eyes. Honestly, my vision blurred up just a little bit. I blinked it away fast. I memorized every single thing they did. Someday, repay it all. My honesty changed everything. Suspicion, gone. Awkwardness, totally vanished. We were really just 4 cheerful teenage boys who had finally found some true, genuine friends. If my honesty built this bond, Lolo's next wild words cemented it forever. His eyes literally glowed while sharing his massive scoop. The new student top 10 beauties ranking. How he actually gathered all that intel in one morning was beyond me. He rattled off names and classes like an excited reporter, noting that final official rankings would strictly require some serious, multi-dimensional scoring systems. Hearing Clara's name, I angrily clicked my tongue. Sure, that silver-haired girl was absolutely beautiful, but something was definitely wrong with her head. She literally called me an idiot. If I wasn't destined to lose that fight, I would absolutely flatten her perfect little nose. Lolo wrapped up his epic report with reluctance, adding with genuine sadness. There's also this alchemy student named Tanghua in my non-combat program right now. She's easily beautiful enough for the top 10, but she seems completely blind. That hurt her image. Score. She couldn't make the list. Such a massive shame. After hearing that beauty report, we 4 turned in perfect sync, gazing out the window toward the girls' dormitories right across the street. Dormitory 138 was buzzing with chaotic teenage energy. The 4 of us discussed girls for way too long. I mentioned teacher Allah, and Lolo said the line of guys courting her could stretch from the academy right to the beast forest. Apparently, her powerful grandfather, the Grand Magic Guide, kept a very close watch. Lolo, how do you get this intel? I asked. He puffed up proudly. My forging classmates and I gathered it all this morning. Exclusive, first-hand intel. I laughed. You know, you could sell this stuff. Not for money, but academy points. Sell it to all the lovesick idiots who can't stop thinking about pretty girls. You wouldn't even need to do missions. The words barely left my mouth before Jean's expression shifted. His eyes grew brighter and brighter. He slapped my shoulder hard enough to sting, saying, "Third brother, that is brilliant. Lolo, you keep collecting intel, I'll handle sales. We trade for academy points and split the profits." He jumped up, planted one foot on his chair, and started laying out a business plan like some kind of elite merchant general. Now watch this. I rubbed my shoulder, thinking, who are you? And what did you do with our polite, tea-drinking gentleman? Lolo immediately pledged his support with pure enthusiasm. He constructed the top 10 beauties ranking with proper data as fast as possible. Then our cool, quiet Arthur suddenly looked worried. Wait, one of you collects intel, one sells it, and one came up with the idea. What about me? I want points too. What do I do? Lolo thought about it. Second brother, I have the perfect job for you. This business could actually be a little dangerous. You're the strongest one here. When the girls' admirers come to beat us up, you charge in and protect us. A drop of sweat slid down Arthur's normally composed face. I'm not sure I can handle that. Jinza clapped his shoulder. We believe in you. You've got this, second brother. And just like that, our little gossip trading organization was officially born. After dinner, Jinza sat with me in the common room, spending over 3 hours teaching me core magic fundamentals. He taught me exactly how his family elders had taught him from the very beginning. Then, he shared his own secret meditation technique. You and I know how huge this is. Just hearing the method, it was clearly leagues better than my basic one. No speeches needed. Our brotherhood grew deeper that day. That night, alone in my room, mentally replayed everything Jinza taught me. Suddenly, the morning's lecture started making perfect sense too. I knew this gap couldn't be closed overnight, but I absolutely couldn't afford to slack off. I sat on my bed, meditating with this brand new technique. Pure magic elements rushed into my body much faster than before. What I didn't know was that the meditation method Jinza gave me was actually one of the greatest on the entire continent. Hours passed. Normally, when a mage's body hits its storage limit, meditation ends automatically, but I kept going for hours. 6 hours, 8 hours. My body kept absorbing magic like some bottomless pit. By the time dawn light crept across the sky, I finally exited meditation. I was just completely exhausted. My mental energy was totally drained, but my level jumped from Magic Apprentice first stage to Magic Apprentice third stage in one single night. I didn't celebrate. Early levels are easy. The real difficulty multiplies later. What genuinely worried me was how I'd managed to meditate all night without hitting a limit. Something about my body was truly strange, but I couldn't pinpoint what, and I decided to keep it to myself. You'd agree, right? The last thing I needed was being dragged into a lab for research. Stick with me here. You and I are about to start our day grabbing 4 free breakfasts. The second floor offered special monster meat for an energy boost, but that cost precious academy points. After eating and a quick chat, we split up. But walking into room 13, it was way more packed than the day before. Random students had totally flooded the place. I brushed it off until I reached my old desk, only to find an arm completely blocking my path. It was Kale, the study leader, that same skinny guy trying to show off for Clara. Go find somewhere else, he smirked, claiming my spot. I glanced over at the silent, silver-haired girl sitting nearby. I instantly figured out his little game, rolling my eyes in total disbelief. Why would I move? My notes are literally right here. You are supposed to be our class leader. Get back to the front row. He turned bright red, yelling that he had looked into my background and warned me to step aside. He threatened to force me out, actually grabbing for some shiny magical scepter, probably a fancy heirloom from his rich family, right? I just grinned. So you want to fight over a chair? Go ahead. Take your best swing. Let us see if the school kicks you out for blasting a classmate. I actually puffed out my chest, stepping right into his personal space. The guy froze up entirely. He just stood there, completely outplayed. Looking closely, Aunt Clara smiling just a tiny bit. She was definitely having fun watching this mess. Now watch this part closely. Here is where it gets hilarious. I told him the desk was mine, but maybe I could let him rent it out. His face lit up, asking if I was serious. But wait a second, I never said free. A prime spot like this? 200 points. He completely panicked. Freshmen get 100, and Kale only had an extra 100 from his shiny committee bonus. I was demanding his entire balance. Watching him hesitate, I let out a massive, dramatic sigh. Oh, well, guess this desk means less to you than 200 points. Not a big deal. I will just ask someone else. I pretended to sit, but he immediately reached out and grabbed my arm in a total panic. 200, it is a deal. I bounced right up, pulling out my transfer badge so fast. It looked like a totally practiced move. Payment successful. 300 points sitting in my account. I was smiling way too hard. What I completely missed were the tiny lightning sparks dancing happily through Clara's silver hair. Right behind me, Kale practically jumped into the seat, fixing his hair and admiring his goddess from the perfect angle. 200 points for this? In his mind, an absolute bargain. I scanned the packed room for seats. Everyone had crashed our class just to stare at Clara and Ella. There was literally only one empty spot left in the room. So I dragged a stool from the back, weaving through the totally shocked crowd, and parked myself right beside Clara, at the exact same desk. I gave her my absolute best troublemaker smile. Hey, beautiful. Mind if I crash here? Silence. She simply shifted over slightly, making a bit of room, and let out a soft, proud hey emph. Right then, echoing way louder than her quiet sigh. Every guy's heart in the entire room shattered completely. Kale just sat there glaring at me like I had ruined his life. I was sitting right between him and his dream girl, totally ruining his view. You and I saw that coming, right? Those 200 points were entirely wasted, and everyone looked absolutely furious. Every dude was wondering the exact same thing. If they had just boldly sat down, would she have accepted them too? I kept my head down, faking my studies. Next to me, Clara playfully twirled a silver lock of hair, looking incredibly happy. The angry glare stopped once class began, except for Kale. But soon, my good mood vanished. Basic magic theory made sense, but the advanced stuff was totally confusing. I was just wasting my time. I hid my face on my desk, thinking deeply. Clara almost poked my arm, but quickly pulled her hand back at the last second. Kale scoffed, clearly assuming I was already asleep, thinking his perfect goddess could never care about a slacker like me. Then inspiration finally struck. I jumped straight up, eyes wide open, and bolted right out the door without a single word. The professor paused his lecture. Everyone stared in shock. Clara frowned, but I was focused. Dean Saning's rule suddenly echoed in my mind. Reach warrior, master, or mage level, and deliver massive damage to the training dummy to pass. He never specified which route to take. Nobody said a magic student could not fight using the warrior path. Being a third-stage magic apprentice meant failing as a mage, but my warrior rank was also third stage. So what do we take from this? Hit that warrior master tier, smash the dummy, and pass. Trust me, you are going to want to see this wild plan unfold. Seriously, no rule ever banned a mage from warrior classes. Come along with me, you and I are watching this genius plan start. Arriving straight at the training grounds, every single head just turned instantly. A dude wearing mage robes strolling into the warrior zone. Basically a legendary event here. People immediately pointed and whispered. Brushing off their stares, I searched for Arthur. These grounds were completely massive, holding almost 2,000 warrior students. So finding him proved impossible. While wandering around looking completely lost, a super sharp voice suddenly stopped me. Hey, you in the mage robes, what brings you to the training grounds? Looking over, my stomach instantly completely sank. It was that older examiner from the entrance exam. The same guy who gave me that weirdly creepy smile upon entry. The exact guy who totally forced me right into the mage program on purpose. Just observing some warrior classes, sir. Please just completely ignore me. I tried speed walking away. He totally recognized me. It is pretty tough forgetting the kid who totally scammed the academy. Thinking for a quick second, he knew my real situation perfectly and shouted out, "Want warrior classes? Come join my specific group. I am teaching right now." No way. I literally set a trap for this exact guy 2 days ago. Attending his class meant walking right into the lion den. No need to bother you, sir. I will just find another teacher. He flashed that knowing smirk. Well, if you prefer someone else, I will not force you. But regarding the evaluation, he completely trailed off. He did not even need to finish. I completely froze. He knew I desperately needed warrior training to survive that evaluation. He was making it crystal clear. If I refused to play along, things would get super complicated. Now, pay close attention here. I quickly jogged back with a huge fake smile. I would never waste your valuable time, sir. Learning from you is an absolute honor. Nodding happily, he just pointed right toward the student formation over there. Following right behind him, silently cursed his entire family tree 100 times over. Then I saw his class and totally froze. Over 100 students. Every other class had exactly 30 or 40. Was this guy really that insanely popular, or was something else happening? The students stared at my mage robes, totally whispering and speculating. The instructor announced loudly, "This is Ashura. He will be joining class 8 for warrior training from now on." Then he turned to me. "I am Instructor Anger, and you will call me exactly Instructor Anger." I immediately nodded with a huge, earnest smile. "Got it, Uncle Anger." A thick vein throbbed on his forehead. Nobody had ever called him uncle in his entire teaching career. He glared at me for a long, intense moment, then laughed aloud and waved me into the student formation. "All right, continuing combat training now. Groups of 10, attack me using absolutely everything you have. Go." I blinked hard. That is the whole lesson plan? 10 students charged right at Instructor Anger. 1 second later, all 10 flew in different directions, crashing down and groaning loudly. Next group. Literally the exact same devastating result. 10 in, 10 airborne, 10 crying on the dirt. I gulped. If I go up there, I will definitely fly the absolute farthest. I completely regretted calling him uncle. Then my row was called up. My brain instantly flipped into pure survival mode. I charged forward with my 9 teammates, screaming loudly with them. I know what you are thinking, but watch this. Right before reaching him, I leaped back, threw myself down, and faked rolling around screaming ow with everyone else. I was not touched at all. I completely faked the whole thing. I came here to study fighting techniques, not become a punching bag. I felt absolute zero guilt. Anger suddenly frowned. Something felt weird. He had thrown exactly 9 punches, not 10. Scanning the groaning bodies on the dirt, he immediately spotted the kid in mage robes, writhing around so dramatically. His eyes narrowed into an icy smile. So, this little rat thinks he can just cheat in my combat class? Still rolling around giving my best wounded actor impression. The final group of 10 charged forward. I figured I was totally safe now, just lying there playing hurt in the dirt. Then bam, something suddenly slammed extremely hard into my back. A body crashed right on top of me. It was a student. Anger just launched, totally knocking all the air out of my lungs. A bright mane of fiery red hair flopped right over my face. Gasping loudly in pain, I instinctively pushed hard at the heavy person on top to get them off. My right hand pressed against something incredibly soft and round. I just instinctively squeezed. The red-haired person slowly turned their head and glared down at me. It was a girl. A stunningly beautiful face, perfectly fierce, like a statue, just stared at me with ice-cold eyes. "Enjoying yourself?" she asked in a chilling tone. Hearing that cold voice, dripping with absolute fury, I realized exactly what I had grabbed. I also completely knew there was absolutely zero talking my way out of this disaster, so I did what any completely reasonable person would do. I squeezed twice more, and said, "Honestly, not bad." She completely froze. Then she launched off me like a tight spring, pulling a massive heavy blade from her spatial storage ring while still floating right in midair. But I was already moving. The exact instant she jumped, I flipped to my feet and dove into the massive crowd of students behind me. "That is where we leave it," she landed, scanning the group with fury. "Stick with me here. You and I are meeting a true war goddess. Taller than the guys, stunning, absolutely traffic-stopping, and totally epic. Add that enormous sword." She was pure terror. Every single student immediately scrambled 2 steps backward. Some guys who clearly joined Class 8 just for her stared with totally lovesick eyes. They thought her anger was cute, seriously messed up. She scanned the crowd for me. I hid, head down, hardly breathing. I felt like prey hiding from wild beasts. This girl is totally wild. I seriously cannot stay in Class 8 anymore. Barely 1 period in, and 2 people already want to end my run. This academy is a total hazard zone. Little did I know, if my secret got out, the number of people wanting to crush me would skyrocket past 2. Instructor Anger watched from afar, super amused. I was definitely making his dull afternoon way more entertaining. "0 breaks today," he announced, diving right into the next drill. He absolutely did that on purpose. He knew I would bolt once dismissed. Everyone quickly lined right up. The fiery redhead pulled her anger back and joined the ranks, though everyone nearby stayed super far away. "Smart move." Anger smiled. "Always a huge red flag. Your earlier strikes were super messy," he yelled. "0 real battle experience. For combat training, I am pairing you all up for sparring partners. You will practice together from now on. Use absolutely any technique you learn. No permanent damage." The fighter students buzzed with total hype. Only 2 people completely ignored him, me and the redhead. We both anxiously scanned the field for wildly different reasons. He started calling out the sparring pairs. "Now pay attention." With every single name called, the crowd shrank as kids confidently stepped onto the sparring field. My cold sweat dripped harder and harder, barely anyone left to hide behind. Plus, an absolute freezing glare locked right onto my side. I refused to even look. Finally, the last matchup, Magina against Ashura. Every single student turned my way with super mixed looks. Jealousy, pity, deep sympathy, sheer panic. Nobody stepped up to swap places. Magina. That name rang a bell. I slowly turned and spotted her. The tall redhead stood crossing her arms, flashing an icy smile. She was breathing heavy with absolute fury, which just made her stunning presence pop even more. Yeah, I wasn't feeling like admiring the view. I spun straight back to Anger. "Sir, I seriously need a different partner. I never strike, ladies." But before finishing, a boot smashed my back so hard I launched forward and ate a mouthful of dirt. Total silence. Nobody laughed. The pitying stares multiplied fast. Spitting out some grass, I angrily punched the dirt. In my whole entire life, no girl had ever kicked my backside like that. Footsteps came stomping from behind. Super heavy, intense, furious steps. I pushed off the dirt, leaping right into the Thunder Rush fist starting stance. "I know what you are thinking. Epic comeback. Watch this." Anger's evil grin totally widened. "Begin." I rushed her like pure lightning. 30 minutes later, I was completely spread eagle on the training ground, just staring at the blue sky. My hair was a wreck, face puffed up, both of my eyes completely black. My mage robe was totally covered in boot marks. I literally became a human rug. Majina dusted her hands, tucked that fiery hair, and beamed brightly. She felt absolutely fantastic. Meanwhile, I got utterly and totally wrecked. She was warrior master, first stage an entire tier higher. Strength, speed, and reflexes completely outclassed mine, without even swinging that massive blade of hers. This sheer level gap was honestly humbling. But guess what? She noticed something interesting too. Despite being just warrior third stage with basic moves, I fought super dirty. Sneaky tricks, fakes, surprise strikes, plus my dodge speed was actually incredibly fast. She honestly had to use full power just to win. And apparently, stomping me felt way more satisfying than battling any of her past opponents. Then my terrible day got worse. Majina's aura randomly exploded. Raw energy loudly roared straight through her entire body. Her joints popped, and with one epic yell, she advanced into Warrior Master second stage. Right then and there, after completely flattening me, the crowd just froze. Majina radiated pure happiness, and every single dude on the grass fell hopelessly in love again. Anger gave an impressed nod, flashing an evil grin. Majina, you ranked up incredibly fast thanks to your flawless sparring partner. You two must train together often. Maybe you will hit third stage extremely soon. You are officially permanent partners now. He is your golden punching bag. Majina's eyes absolutely shine like a beast, spotting her absolute favorite snack. She stared down at me, playing possum on the dirt. The other students traded, totally terrified, panicked looks. I stayed perfectly still, mentally roasting Majina in endless ways. How is this chick so ridiculously overpowered without even drawing her weapon? What do you and I learn? Tier gaps are truly brutal. When I get stronger, I swear my payback will be absolutely legendary. Let's jump into this hilarious academy mess. Our guy is literally a human punching bag, making his opponent level up just by getting wrecked. Only a fool would keep doing this. Tomorrow, class switch. The bell rings. He dragged his battered body toward the dorms. Students pointed and whispered as he passed. He ignored every single one. What our boy did not know, his glorious new title as the gold medal sparring partner had already spread across the entire freshman class. Thanks to class 8 gossiping non-stop, he was officially the hottest trending topic among all new students. He limped inside and collapsed. Ginza and Arthur took one look at his totally mangled face and went completely pale. Arthur jumped up, absolutely furious. Who did this? Tell me and I will duel them right now. He stormed toward the door. His heart swelled. Now, that was true brotherly loyalty. Tears practically streaming down his face, he yelled out. It was a red-haired girl over in Warrior Class 8. Her name is Majina. Super tall, you cannot miss her. Go beat her up. She is an absolute monster. Arthur froze with his hand on the doorknob. Turning around slowly, he asked, Majina, a girl? Yes. Definitely. Majina. Now pay attention. He begs, saying she is tougher than guys, carrying a massive sword. Look at this swelling. Please be careful. She broke through another stage after beating me up, but she is probably no match for you. Arthur quietly walked back and sat, squirming uncomfortably. Third brother, absolutely cannot help you with this one. First off, she is my cousin. We are related. Second, I have never been able to defeat her, not even once since childhood. Plus, she just leveled up. If I fight her, I will end up looking much worse than you. Pure silence. Ginza had nothing to add. Suddenly, the door burst open and Lolo charged inside, practically vibrating with pure, unadulterated excitement. Huge news. Some crazy mage went down to the training grounds today and got himself totally trashed. He volunteered to spar with Majina. She is beauty rank 5, and she leveled up a full stage just from totally wrecking him. Can you believe it? He trailed off into silence. Ginza and Arthur gave our guy incredibly pained expressions. The pieces finally clicked for Lolo. He understood why Majina's name sounded so incredibly familiar. She was on that stupid beauty ranking. Now, the whole academy knew. She totally beat him up. Reputation ruined. Howling in pure anguish, he fled to his bedroom. Ginza and Arthur knocked, desperately trying to comfort him. He ignored them. Here is the craziest part. You will not believe. Lolo nervously asks if he should mention students offering 200 points to beat him up for easy breakthroughs. Alone inside, he fumed, then finally sighed. It all came down to being just way too weak. Replaying the epic fight mentally, he noted his mistakes and successes, then sat straight on his bed and instantly started meditating to gain power. Magic lectures were confusing, but he could build his foundation. Every single second truly counted here. Skipping magic class the next morning, he dodged those advanced skills that were completely beyond him, heading straight for the training grounds instead. Meanwhile, in classroom 13, Clara sat down and stared intensely at the empty seat beside her. A handsome mage sauntered over, flipped his hair, and boldly asked, "May I sit right here, beautiful lady?" Without looking up, she coldly replied, "Seat taken." He fumbled, so she raised her voice. "Was I not totally clear? Someone sits here." The guy turned 3 different colors and quickly slunk away. Kale almost cried tears of joy, convinced she saved it for his spirit. She absolutely was not. At the training grounds, he crept along the edge, scouting for a non-Class 8 group. Spotting a waiting crowd, he confirmed 0 Class 8 students were present. He walked over, flashing his absolute friendliest smile. "Hey, guys, mind if I join your class today? Welcome." Who rejects a gold sparring partner? Suddenly, a familiar, amused voice echoed from right behind him. He turned in horror. Instructor Anger stood grinning like a cat with a mouse. He wanted to vanish. "Good morning, instructor. Class 8 is waiting for you." The man smirked. "I am doing perfectly fine right here." He laughed for a solid minute, stroked his goatee, and dramatically announced, "Actually, I am teaching this class today. This is Class 7. I handle their combat skills too." He tried running, but a huge hand grabbed his collar and dragged him right back. Tossed straight into the formation, the lesson began. Despite the utter humiliation, he had to admit, this guy was incredibly skilled. Really top tier. His explanations were clear, and his combat demonstrations were absolutely flawless. He kept pulling him up as the demonstration partner. Taking hits hurt, but being up close let our hero truly understand the advanced techniques much better. That is where we leave it. Second period sparring starts. He checks around nervously. "No red hair. Stick with me here." I relaxed way too soon. With a terrifying grin, Anger yelled out, "Lan Yu, I found the absolute perfect gold medal sparring partner for you. Just yesterday, Magina from Class 8 actually leveled up after fighting this exact same kid. Don't miss out. Ashura, quit hiding and get over here." My fists clenched, veins totally popping. It was painfully obvious now. Anger was absolutely the guy spreading rumors about me getting completely trashed. I officially added punching that old man right in the face to my ultimate life goals, while I was completely lost in angry thoughts about leveling up and getting payback. Incredibly long legs suddenly blocked my view. Looking up, I spotted a stunning girl rocking long blue hair, just standing right there in front of me. Honestly, the very first thing I noticed were those legs. I mean, they literally went on forever. No joke. It felt like her entire body was just legs. She rocked this incredibly cool, elegant face. Those intense, fox-like eyes gave off a totally dangerous charm, and her high blue ponytail made her look straight out of a premium sports magazine. She definitely caught me staring. Those sharp fox eyes instantly narrowed. Major red flags went off everywhere. I quickly looked away. I totally knew Anger's twisted style by now. Any girl he paired me with was guaranteed to be an absolute nightmare. "Nope, not doing this today. I object." I shouted out loud. "I am returning to magic class. Pick somebody else. See that massive guy over there? He looks super eager to fight." I desperately pointed at a tall student who kept sneaking secret glances at her. The guy blushed hard and stared down. I was already escaping, but Anger completely ignored my protests. He just shouted out, "Begin." The wind rushed behind me. "Now, pay attention. This is where it gets wild." I somersaulted forward, barely dodging a kick that could have ended me. The blue-haired girl, Lan Yu, landed flawlessly, took her stance, and taunted me with one finger. Something snapped inside me. I jumped straight up and roared, "You asked for it. Prepare yourself for my ultimate technique. The divine wind leg. HYH. Watch the legs." Lan Yu tensed up, bracing for whatever devastating attack was coming. Then I instantly turned around and sprinted away at top speed. her beautiful pale face completely twisted in pure, unadulterated fury. She let out a huff, and those incredibly long legs closed the huge gap in seconds. The whole training grounds got an epic show that day. Just a guy running for survival while a fierce girl chased him down, landing kicks whenever she got close. She was unbelievably fast, leaving me in the dust. My only option was dodging, wildly changing directions, faking her out, and blocking those brutal whip kicks. My poor mage robe gathered way more boot prints today. Meanwhile, across the field, Magina was sitting in her own class, completely bored out of her mind by the substitute teacher's lecture. She randomly scanned the area and immediately spotted two figures sprinting wildly along the training grounds. She recognized the person in front instantly, me. And chasing me was Lan. You from the famous Lan family. Both of our families were intense rivals. They'd been constantly compared their entire lives. Why is that annoying punk sparring with her? Magina's mood instantly took a massive nosedive. She totally felt like someone stole her absolute favorite toy. We all knew I couldn't run forever, right? Lan, you finally caught me with the flawless split kick. One foot pinned my neck against a tree, the other grounded. I was completely trapped, staring up at this girl doing a standing split on my throat. The bell rang. End of class. I yelled, "It's over. Stop. No more fighting." I grabbed her foot with both hands, prying it off my neck just so I could breathe. I gasped out, "If you strike me again, that counts as illegal assault. I will seriously report you." She stood there, panting slightly. Even she had to use her top speed to match my endless direction changes and super dirty tricks. But honestly, she looked incredibly excited. Like, hunting me down was the absolute most fun she's had in years. Then she realized I was still gripping her foot. Her face flushed bright red, awkwardly tugging it back. I held too tight. Those fierce fox eyes narrowed dangerously once again. I instantly let go, sliding straight down the trunk while gasping for air. Seeing the massive boot prints covering my robe, she almost burst out laughing, but her immense pride stopped her. Instead, she just smiled coolly and said, "Sparring with you is actually fun. Come find me next time." Then she skipped away, hands behind her back, blue ponytail swinging happily. Wincing, I watched her leave. Am I actually a masochist? Find you next time? Why on earth would I? Just because you have nice legs? I'm absolutely taking a different class tomorrow. There is zero chance anger teaches every single class. I was resting against the tree, about to dust off my robe, when a brand new pair of long legs suddenly appeared right before me. I looked up incredibly slowly. Megan towered right over me, hands firmly on hips. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, making her look absolutely gorgeous and incredibly terrifying all at the exact same time. I swallowed hard. What does she want from me now? I quickly attempted my absolute most charming smile. Before I could even speak, she angrily snapped, "Was it super fun getting beaten up by her? Who gave you permission to be her sparring partner?" That's where we leave it. I was totally lost. Did she really think I enjoyed getting kicked around? She didn't even wait for my answer. "Alright, stick with me here." She leaned in, radiating boss energy like a drill sergeant. "You are my sparring partner now. Only mine. In exchange, I will protect you. No one in this academy will bully you." She stared, waiting for an answer. I tried to speak up. I truly, really did. But when she leaned forward, her collar slipped, and the view ahead was incredibly distracting. She followed my gaze, realized what I was staring at, yelped loudly, grabbed her top, and immediately reached for the ring, holding her giant sword. "Wait, sister. We are family," I yelled. "I am Arthur's roommate. Your cousin's roommate. Let's talk." She paused and then snorted. "Oh, so you are that useless Arthur's roommate. Good. Then I know exactly where to hunt you down. Remember my warning, you are absolutely mine." She turned and proudly marched away. I sat there, feeling totally miserable. Meanwhile, Lan, you skipped happily back to Class 7's formation. Best fight she had in forever. Then she suddenly stopped completely. Her whole body trembled. Surrounding students panicked, screaming for instructor anger. By the time he pushed his way through the massive crowd, she looked up with wide, utterly disbelieving eyes. Instructor anger. I think I just broke through to Warrior Master 2nd stage. Watch this carefully. Absolute silence. Then anger. Burst out laughing uncontrollably. That guy is a miracle worker. Yesterday Magina broke through after sparring him. Today it is you. Is this kid made of magic herbs? You beat him up and instantly level up? Ha, 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 Lan. You laughed too. But hearing Magina's name made her eyebrows twitch wildly. So that woman used him to break through yesterday. Humph. Next time, I am telling him he is only allowed to spar with me. Right at that moment, I dragged my completely battered body into Magic Class 13 and collapsed, face first onto the desk beside a certain silver-haired girl. I crashed onto Clara's desk, completely exhausted. She jumped, then wrinkled her delicate nose at my ruined, dirty robe and the faint smell of sweat. She poked my arm with her finger. Where did you run off to? Why do you look like this? I just lifted one eyelid, glanced at her, and put my head back down. That was clearly the absolute wrong move. Her tone went sharp. I am the class president. You skipped class without permission. I am telling the teacher. I groaned internally. Why did every pretty girl here want to make my life harder? The dean literally said, we are free to choose absolutely any class we want. I mumbled weakly. She opened her mouth, remember. The dean actually said exactly that, and puffed out her cheeks in pure frustration. That is no excuse. The 3-month evaluation is coming, and you are not even attending. Mind your own business, I snapped. Now, can you believe that? The words hit her like a slap. Nobody ever talked to her like that. She lifted her chin high, maybe out of pride, or so I would not see her eyes getting wet. Kale, who had been eavesdropping the whole entire time, seized his heroic moment. He jumped up. How dare you speak to the class president that way? You are a terrible student, dragging down our class. Your behavior is mind your own business, Clara said coldly. Kale's mouth froze mid-sentence. The entire class went completely silent. If anyone needed to cry right now, it was him. I looked at Clara, completely surprised. Then I felt super guilty. She did absolutely nothing wrong. I was taking out my frustration from getting beaten up by those 2 girls on her, and that was not fair. I grabbed my notebook and quickly wrote sorry. I really had no choice. I cannot understand the magic classes at all. I slid the notebook to her. She was clearly planning to never speak to me again, but she looked at my note anyway. I watched her expression change completely. Surprise, confusion, realization, and then finally understanding. She was at the entrance exam. She knew my exact situation. She was smart enough to piece everything together. Her anger just melted away. She bit her lip and wrote back. Then what are you going to do? Can you pass the evaluation? What happened to you these past 2 days? I wrote back explaining my bold plan, using warrior training to pass instead of magic, and gave her a summary of my wild adventures with Magina and Lanyu. She wrote questions. I wrote the answers, back and forth, filling page after page. It was her very first time passing notes with a boy, and her first time talking this much with one. Finally, she chewed on her pen and wrote, I do not know if your plan will work, but if you have magic questions, you can ask me anytime. I read it and felt my mood lift for the first time all day. I quickly wrote back, thanks. Let me survive the 3-month evaluation first, then we talk. We had been writing for so long that neither of us even noticed the bell ring. We had both completely skipped the lecture. Clara's cheeks turned bright pink when she realized. She slammed the notebook shut. I stood up, stretched my arms, told her to keep this secret for me, and headed to the dorm. She sneaked the notebook into her storage ring like she was hiding stolen treasure. Back at the dorm, Ginza and Arthur were waiting for me in the common room. They looked relieved I wasn't battered. Trust me, we are just getting started. Let's dive in. I sat down asking Ginza for tea, and us 3 just laughed about academy life. Suddenly, Lolo busted right through the door, staring me down without even blinking. Third brother, is it really true that Long Yu from class 7 actually beat you up today? She is high on the beauty rankings. I glared at him. How did this kid know everything? Ginza and Arthur went straight from shock to extreme jealousy. I had only been here a few short days, yet I already had connections, however wild, with 2 top 10 academy beauties. These poor guys could not even get one glance. Lolo was not finished. Third brother, guess what happened next? Long Yu actually broke through to Warrior Master 2nd stage right after she fought you. I completely spat tea all over Lolo. He wiped his face calmly and kept going. The whole academy thinks fighting you triggers massive power breakthroughs. Someone already offered 500 points just to spar with you. Every single warrior class knows you have been hopping around, and those strong students are seriously praying you will show up in theirs. Third brother, your price is 500 points per fight. Want me to set it up? I have buyers. I was about to tell him exactly where to shove that crazy sales pitch, when I suddenly noticed Arthur. His eyes were blazing with intense excitement, looking unbelievably thrilled right now. Third brother, he said, with a creepy grin. I have been stuck at Warrior Master first stage for half a year. We are brothers, right? Just one tiny spar between us so I can reach the second stage. No, the third stage. I will even beat up Magina for you. Deal? His stare was absolutely predatory, so I instantly dove right behind Ginza for cover. Thankfully, Ginza stepped up and calmed everyone down. Arthur slowly snapped back to reality. He was honestly just super anxious. Hearing how many students were hitting second stage while he was stuck had really gotten to his head. I asked Ginza a few magic questions, then retreated to my room. My situation was just an absolute total mess. Now watch closely, things get crazy here. Every single freshman warrior class was basically waiting to punch my lights out. I only wanted basic combat lessons. How did it get this wild? Despite the madness, I meditated through the whole night again. My body absorbed magic elements endlessly, acting exactly like a bottomless pit. I asked Ginza about his meditation sessions earlier. He could only manage about 3 hours before fully hitting his limit. Something was definitely different about my body, but I had zero time to figure it out. Next morning, chose to head straight back to the training grounds. It felt better getting beaten by Magina and Lan Yu than by strangers desperately trying to buy a fast breakthrough. Between those two, Lan Yu was slightly better. At least she mercifully avoided hitting my face. But reaching that training ground entrance, I spotted them both immediately. Red hair and blue hair, standing directly at the main gate, just waiting for me. Together, I instantly turned and sprinted back toward the Magic Academy. Were they totally insane? 2 Warrior Master second stage girls teaming up against me? My body would end up in pieces. Behind me, those 2 girls watched me flee. Lan Yu then turned toward Magina. This is your fault. He saw you and got scared. Magina fired right back. I found him first. You are the one who stole my sparring partner. I did not steal anything. Instructor Inger assigned him to me, and he already agreed to spar with me. Liar. He promised to spar only with Emmy yesterday. They had never gotten along, and this finally pushed them over the edge. They argued louder and louder until words were not enough. They literally started fighting right there at the training ground entrance. It ended in a draw when their instructors had to rush in and physically drag them apart. Can you believe this? By afternoon, the hottest freshman news was 2 top 10 beauties getting into a wild brawl over some sparring partner. That sparring partner was me. I was just hiding inside the Magic Academy, pretending none of this crazy drama was happening. I decided to skip the training grounds and rest at the Magic Academy for a day. Getting beaten up every day was not very healthy. But before I even made it to the classroom, Teacher Ella called me into her office. I nervously stood right in front of her desk. She offered me a chair, but I refused. I told her I honestly preferred standing up to receive her lecture. The actual truth. Standing gave me a rather pleasant view looking downward. She just smiled so carefully, clearly trying hard not to hurt my pride. Ashura, mind telling me your current level? I replied, Magic Apprentice, 3rd stage. I think I am close to breaking through to Mage 1st stage. Her eyes went wide. She had not expected that much progress in a few days. She mentioned some annoying classmates had reported me skipping class to hang around the training grounds. You and I already know who reported me. Kale, I must stay away from that little snitch. I decided to be totally honest with her. Yes, teacher, my basic foundation is just too weak for advanced lectures. Instead of wasting time here, I figured I would sharpen my warrior skills at the training grounds. She looked genuinely worried. Is there anything I can do to help you? I truly believe you can pass the evaluation if you work hard. I was surprised by how sincere she was. I just smiled. I believe I can pass too. The only thing you can do for me, when evaluation day finally comes, please just stay on my side. Trust me, you and I are about to watch the funniest misunderstanding ever unfold. Back inside, I sat by Clara. She smelled amazing. I definitely sniffed a bit too loud. She played it totally cool, but her ears turned completely red. We breezed through the morning lectures. No passing notes today. But during breaks, my desk vanished under a mountain of challenge letters. Guys practically begging to spar for a power-up. Others were just insanely jealous over Magina and Lan. You, wanting payback. I tossed every single envelope in the trash. I thought they were sweet love letters. Nope, just furious guys demanding a fight. Clara's eyes crinkled into happy little crescents as she giggled. You are just awful. What girl would write you love letters? Before I could even answer, the self-proclaimed handsome guy from the front row, Naoi, sprinted over completely drenched in sweat. Ashura, did you hear the news? Magina and Lan, you literally battled each other over you today. You have to teach me how you get girls. How did you do it? You are not even handsome. He kept rambling, but Clara went totally silent beside me. She completely looked away. The quill pen in her hand was bending right to the breaking point. Pay attention here, because this twist is wild. Fought over me? I thought they teamed up to beat me up. This hilarious misunderstanding basically painted a massive target right on my back. I sat paralyzed all class, then bolted the absolute second the bell finally rang. Back at the dorm, Ginza and Lolo were busy sketching away. They were designing special collector cards for the top 10 beauties. Their gossip empire officially begins. I ignored their little project, headed upstairs, and crashed on my bed. Honestly, getting tossed around was rough, but the combat experience was pure gold. Facing stronger rivals and going all out. It boosted my strength way faster than studying ever could. I just needed to flip the script. Time to negotiate. I spent the entire night meditating. My magic was right on the verge of upgrading. Just a few more days to hit the next tier. Next morning, I waited at the arena. Right on schedule, Lan Yu and Magina arrived together, uniforms completely soaked in sweat. They had already finished their morning routines. Seeing their intense discipline made me feel bad. Then I remembered my all-night meditation session and felt totally fine again. You know exactly what happens next, right? They sprinted over, grabbed an arm each, and nearly tore me in half. Hold on, let go, you two. They dropped me, then instantly attacked. A flawless whip kick from one side, matched by a heavy punch from the other. I flew backward, instantly pinned down by two heavy boots on my chest. I stared up at two absolutely furious faces. Hold up, I gasped. Let us negotiate. If I am gone, who will be your training partner? They backed off, arms crossed. I picked myself up, dusted off my clothes with dramatic flair, and flashed a charming smile. Ladies, I understand you both leveled up to Warrior Master 2nd stage thanks to our little sparring sessions. Pretty impressive. Naturally, training with a top-tier opponent accelerates your growth. They both rolled their eyes so hard I'm shocked they did not strain something. I kept going. I also heard you two clashed over me yesterday. That is honestly just tragic. Besties should never fight. So, here is my brilliant plan. Since you both want me, let us bid. Pay me points per session. Highest bidder gets my time. Consider it hazard pay for my medical bills today. With more points, I power up faster, offering you way better combat practice and quicker level ups. You should know guys are currently offering 500 points just to catch these hands. The waitlist is massive, but I value loyalty. We have history. You fought over me. I could never abandon you. I threw my arms open like a king. The auction starts now. The girls stared like I was absolutely insane. My genius business pitch completely broke their brains. They had never met someone this hopelessly shameless. One quick glance, and they instantly formed an alliance, their very first time agreeing. Magina smiled so sweetly. Great speech, but beating you up for free sounds way more fun. Boom. Lan, you kicked me across the yard again. I scrambled back. Wait, let us deal. Prices are absolutely negotiable. They kept advancing toward me. 400. 400 works. Still walking. 300. Come on. Closer. 200. Absolute bargain. Almost in strike range. 100 points a month. My final offer. Deal, or I vanish from this arena. They paused. So, you and I calling this a win? Stick with me here, they whispered together, then turned around. Magina fought a grin. 100 points for a 1-month trial. Deal. Bail on us, and we hunt you down. I breathed a massive sigh of relief. Deal. You pay me first, then we spar. I pulled out my badge for the transfer, grabbing theirs. Seeing the total, I almost lost my mind. Can you two even do math? I asked for 100 points. You each sent 50. Lan, you calmly replied, we are splitting the cost. 1 day each. Today you are Magina's. Tomorrow you are mine. Show up every single day. No slacking. Otherwise, she cracked her knuckles, double the beat down. Staring at their sweet smiles, I realized anyone calling pretty girls kind was a total liar. Absolute fury surged through me. Shifting into my thunder rush fist stance, I instantly felt a huge, heavy blade against my neck, and a glowing dagger on the exact other side. Yeah, my fighting spirit just completely evaporated. Lowering my hand slowly, I muttered my absolute final demand. Fine, but nobody hits my face. And so, this wild routine began. Every morning, dragged myself to whatever magic classes made sense. Whenever the lectures got too confusing, I hit the training grounds instead. I totally sweet-talked Clara into grabbing the detailed notes for classes I skipped out on. She made them insanely detailed, adding her personal explanations to make everything so much easier to grasp. Sometimes she purposely slipped in super tricky questions, forcing me to track her down the next day for answers. Now watch this. The sparring was purely brutal. They were Warrior Master second stage, and I was weaker, but they kept pushing me. Honestly, they seemed to enjoy clobbering me more daily. But within a single month, I broke through to Warrior Master first stage. The girls got so hyped, they instantly renewed their membership. And obviously, that exact renewal process involved me. Foolishly thinking my shiny new level let me win. I earned a 2-on-1 beatdown that seriously left me regretting absolutely every single life choice I ever made. 3 crazy months flew by. The big evaluation was finally approaching. My progress was totally real. Fighting stronger opponents daily had sent my skills skyrocketing. I was officially knocking on the Warrior Master second stage door. My Thunder Rush Fist upgraded to 2 Thunder Claps, launching double waves of penetrating force per punch. But I hid that from the girls. I was saving it for an epic surprise. After 3 months of getting trashed, I definitely deserved one single glorious moment. I even got super creative, adapting the Thunder Rush Fist style to fit perfectly with second brother's twin sabers. Lacking formal saber techniques, I grafted that explosive fist power directly onto my blade movements. The results were insanely effective. For magic, meditating every single night without fail easily pushed my rank all the way to mage third stage. Still slightly short of the mage first stage required for magic students, but honestly, it did not matter. I was a solid Warrior Master first stage. Now, extremely confident I could pass. Meanwhile, my mage robe was literally shredded from 3 months of intense daily sparring. A fresh replacement cost 100 points. I just could not spend that much. I knew exactly how insanely hard those points were. You saw this coming, right? Magina and Lan Yu actually fully noticed my massive growth. Magina had to use full power against me now. I even caught Lan Yu totally struggling during our fast exchanges, though she would rather eat dirt than ever admit it. The gap was closing super fast. Oh, there is one crazy incident to mention. Earlier this month, I snuck a quick Thunder Rush punch at Magina during our sparring. She blocked with her arm, but the penetrating force punched right through, leaving a mark. She stayed quiet, but next day, she swapped schedules with Lan Yu and spent the entire session destroying me so thoroughly. I literally could not walk straight afterward. Lan Yu was absolutely furious about losing her turn. Now, the big evaluation was here. Some students were hyped to prove themselves. Others were totally panicking, cramming last-minute training sessions. Some even planned to fight for the top freshman title. Me, I was just quietly confident. 3 intense months of tears, sweat, and boot prints forged me into something infinitely stronger than the lost boy who first stumbled through those academy gates. Time to finally show everyone what a gold medal sparring partner could actually pull off. On evaluation morning, I woke up super early, grabbed breakfast from the loud cafeteria, and brought it all the way back for my awesome roommates. Our little squad got incredibly close over these 3 months. Plus, those top 10 beauties ranking cards, a massive hit. We earned over 1,000 points selling those, packed with half-true gossip tidbits. Ginza absolutely insisted on splitting every point 4 ways equally, feeling totally guilty for doing nothing for the business. I desperately tried to help out wherever I possibly could. After breakfast, the 3 of us wished each other good luck and headed to our separate classes. That is where we leave it. Lolo skipped the test, peacefully snoozing away. Walking right into class 13, most of my snobby classmates barely even acknowledged me. Alright, stick with me. You and I are jumping in. Rumor was our guy skipped class to chase girls while training. Those elite academy majors completely looked down on him. Plus, everyone already knew his magic level was just so embarrassingly low. His only real friends were the absolute genius, Clara, and Na, the chubby kid sitting right in the front row. Clara had bonded with him during those early entrance exams. Meanwhile, Na just assumed they were both bottom-tier students and felt an instant, totally natural connection. Na only cared about food. He literally blew all his academy points on those super expensive second-floor cafeteria meals. He went up there once and almost fainted at those insane prices. There was zero chance he was wasting points on food. Clara leaned over, quietly whispering, "The evaluation is today. Can you handle it?" He leaned back calmly in his chair. A real man never backs down. She just gave him the absolute biggest eye roll he had ever seen. She was totally used to him by now. She actually liked talking to him because he never faked a perfect act to impress her like all the other academy guys did. He just kept it completely real. Of course, she had no idea that all those fun facts about her habits on the beauty ranking cards were actually fully leaked by him. If she ever found out, her goodwill would vanish instantly. Then, Na suddenly turned around. "Hey, Ashura, let us feast on the second floor after the test. You are getting expelled anyway, so seriously, do not let those sweet academy points just go to waste." He grabbed a notebook to throw, but suddenly caught Clara shooting him an absolutely terrifying glare. That specific notebook held all her handwritten notes, plus months of their completely secret written conversations. Throwing it meant a staged lightning bolt would literally fry him on the spot. Yeah, Clara had already hit Mage 2nd stage. The girl was a genuine genius. Kale also hit Mage 2nd stage recently, massively inflating his ego until he actually believed he was destined to be Clara's perfect little soulmate. Ashura put the notebook down and just settled for glaring at Na. "Worry about yourself, big guy." That instantly shut him up. Na was barely Mage stage 1 and totally skipped practicing his own skills. His basic lightning summoning spell only worked half the time. Deep down, he was quietly terrified about this entire evaluation. Then teacher Allah walked in, dressed totally formally. Her expression showed serious hope. "Magic class 13, follow me to the testing arena for your final evaluation." Everyone stood up and filed out in pure, tense silence. "Now pay attention. You and I are stepping into this massive, open dome arena flooded with bright sunlight, right as class 12 was just finishing. A few students walked out looking entirely crushed. One sobbing girl just made everyone in his entire class feel way more nervous. Allah flashed an encouraging smile. "Just relax, everyone. Lightning is literally the highest damage magic element you can use. You are better equipped to pass this than anyone. I know your skills, and I truly believe every single one of you can make it." Her words really helped. 3 months together proved Allah was not just beautiful, but also a completely fantastic teacher. She was genuinely kind. Her lectures drew huge crowds, so it was absolutely no mystery why so many male teachers were still desperately chasing her. Then, her eyes found Ashura waiting in the back. "You see it, right? 3 months of combat training completely changed him, making him taller and visibly muscular. His tattered mage robe was stretching tight over huge muscles that did not belong on a magic student. He literally stood out like a dangerous wolf among sheep." She tried helping him endlessly, offering, tutoring, and even paying out of her own pocket for a new robe when his got way too damaged. But he turned it all down. He had his own plan to follow. Now, all she could really give him was a soft look that simply said, "Good luck." He just flashed a small grin back. The testing zone featured a white humanoid dummy covered in glowing blue magic runes. Up on a nearby raised platform, 3 strict examiner instructors were sitting ready to judge. 1 hosting, 1 recording, and 1 judging. The judge was this hook-nosed mage with a grumpy face, proving he had literally never smiled in his entire life. The host stood up and announced, "The first magic evaluation begins now. The rules are super simple. Just deal damage to the test dummy to pass. When it takes a valid hit, the dummy changes color. Any color shift means a passing grade. Only proper technique attacks at the mage level or higher can actually trigger that color change. You had 3 months to prepare. Enough talking. Magic class 13, your big evaluation starts right now." One by one, the examiner called names, and his classmates nervously stepped right up. They fired their best lightning spells at the dummy, making it flash bright blue. The hook-nosed judge would just nod and calmly say, "Pass." Some even pulled out their rich family magic staffs to boost power. The academy totally allowed it, because good equipment counted as your own strength. When Kale stepped up, he made a huge production of it. He fixed his hair, then dramatically pulled a gorgeous staff from his storage ring. It had a massive pigeon egg thunder core. "Trust me, you will want to see what happens next. Stick with me here." His family was insanely rich. He soaked up those jealous stares, glancing at Clara for admiration. But she just stared blankly and frowned. She was totally annoyed that he was wasting everyone's time with silly posing. He channeled his spell through the staff, striking the dummy with a triple finger-wide lightning bolt. The target glowed bright red for one quick second before fading completely. Red meant top tier. The class gasped out loud. He turned toward Clara, totally triumphant. Except she wasn't even looking. She was busy whispering with me instead. His proud face instantly cycled through pure, furious colors. Next up was Clara. Sticking her tongue out playfully, she jogged right onto the field. Zero staff, zero fancy preparation. She simply pointed one single finger at the dummy and muttered her chant. Boom! A massive, fist-sized lightning bolt came crashing down from the sky. The test dummy blazed bright red for 3 whole seconds before fading out. No staff, no core, just raw, epic power that absolutely crushed Kale's flashy attack. The entire class fell completely silent. Even that grumpy, hook-nosed judge smiled and nodded. Kale's face went through another pathetic color show. He finally cooled off by deciding it was totally natural for his flawless goddess to be stronger. Clara bowed politely, bouncing right back to my side, continuing our chat like nothing epic even happened. Honestly, Kale looked like the lightning hit him instead of the actual target. Next up was Na. The nervous, chubby kid slowly walked out to the center and pulled his staff. Nothing too flashy, but that strict judge's eyes went absolutely wide seeing it. Super interesting. Na chanted his spell, swinging the staff hard. A solid lightning bolt shot right toward the dummy, but completely missed. It just grazed the shoulder and struck the empty dirt instead. The dummy barely even flickered. Everyone laughed out loud. Na panicked, firing rapidly. Every single blast landed anywhere except the actual target. His magic was draining super fast. Keep this up, and he totally fails. The judges frowned hard. Things looked awful. Calm down, I shouted from the sidelines. Stay super focused. Imagine that dummy is your favorite snack. Na flinched, glancing back at me for one quick second with super grateful eyes. Then faced the dummy again. Now, you've gotta watch this. He licked his lips, closed his eyes, intensely chanting an epic spell I had never heard. He slowly raised both trembling hands high up, and a glowing, crackling ring of lightning formed right between them. Standing firmly in the center, he held that wild electric halo way up high, like some crazy sky offering. At the final word, his eyes snapped wide open. Thunder, ring, slash. He hurled that insane lightning ring forward. It screamed right through the air, slamming the dummy's chest, trying to cut perfectly clean through it. Blinding red light completely erupted, way brighter and longer than Clara's hit. Both the glowing light and ring faded away slowly. Absolute dead silence. Nobody could believe the class clown just pulled that off. Na doubled over, clutching his knees, gasping. That epic technique definitely drained him completely dry. But the hook-nosed judge didn't look surprised whatsoever. He definitely recognized the technique. Apparently, this was an elite family secret from some highly powerful noble clan. Na just lacked the strength to unleash its maximum potential yet. Student Na, pass. The entire class finally snapped awake. Everyone completely re-evaluated the chubby kid they just mocked. Clara clearly recognized that technique too. Nobles knew way more about elite family secrets than commoners ever realized. Still, she wasn't impressed enough to actually care. She had her own legendary family techniques she just didn't need yet. Na came running back, grabbing me in a crushing bear hug that nearly snapped my spine, begging to know if his move looked cool. Clara just chuckled softly beside us. I know what you're thinking. Before I could playfully roast him, the host yelled, next, Ashura. Every eye locked onto me. The ultimate moment of truth. I calmly adjusted my ragged robe, walked straight into the field center, stopping 10 paces from that dummy. Then I reached right into my storage belt. A bright white flash. Everyone totally expected a standard magic staff. I pulled out my twin sabers. Spinning them once, I settled into a stance exactly like the Thunder Rush fist opening, just with sharp blades instead. Finally, facing the dummy, every person inside the arena, students and judges alike, just stared in absolute, total confusion. What crazy magic technique requires twin sabers? What spell needs a martial arts stance? Letting out a massive roar, I exploded forward, closing 10 paces instantly, and violently crossed both heavy blades in a fierce scissor slash aimed at the dummy's throat. A dull thud. The head flew high. And I felt that impact.